All right, we're started on my side.
Awesome. I'm starting on my side as well. Let's see. All right, guys, very welcome to this Sunday stream with Richard Hart. Welcome, Richard, to the show.
Hello.
Thank you for your time and that you could join us and talk to us and talk about different topics. We're going to talk about a lot. I have an agenda here. Number one, we're going to talk about Bitcoin and the Bitcoin maximalism, because you are a Bitcoin maximalist.
I used to be.
Correct?
I'm not. I'm not any longer. I used to be.
Any longer. Okay.
Yeah.
Then we're going to talk about the fact that you're a controversial figure, but we're going to talk about that at the end with Viagra and Panama.
Nice.
And
I'll get you dick hard.
Also, you have strong opinions on several topics. You have strong opinions on Ethereum, on IOTA, on ICOs, and so on and so forth, which is extremely interesting to explore as well.
Yep.
We're going to talk about the future of crypto. We're going to talk about how Bitcoin will play its role in the future as well, and just have a chat, have debates, have discussions. I'm going to check on my phone if everything is working. Give me just 1 minute, guys. Thank you, everyone who has joined the stream. Amazing to see so many people here already. And if you haven't, smash the like button if you're excited for this interview. So, Richard, we're live on your channel as well?
I hope so. I'm afraid to open another tab in this browser because it might crash the system we're using.
All right,
I can only pray.
So, first of all, who is Richard Hart? Tell us about your story before Bitcoin, before cryptocurrencies.
Yeah, I grew up in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. My dad had an air conditioning business there, and I worked with him on that and delivering newspapers for a long time. And then one day when I was using the hand truck that you used to wheel newspapers around, I was very young at the time, my head was about the same height as the handle, and the trolley stopped. My face hit it and chipped my tooth. And then eventually one day it died, and I needed a new one. It cost about $5,000. Didn't have $5,000. Dad didn't have $5,000. So my options were look like a hillbilly with a missing tooth or come up with $5,000. So I started selling all the stuff that I owned, and most of what I owned was car stereo equipment because, I was a kid, and that's what kids do. They fill up their car with stereo. So I looked, and the prices I was getting for the stuff I was selling was about what I paid for it, but I'd had it for 2 years. And it occurred to me, man, I must have got a really good deal on this. So the reason I got such a good deal is because my dad did the air conditioning for general manager at a store called BrandSmart, which is gigantic, huge store, really good deals. And he would just sell me stuff at cost. So I said, well, you know what I should do? I should put ads out in the paper for stuff that I can get good deals on. And then if people call and they want the stuff, I'll get a little money down deposit, and then I'll go get the stuff and we'll exchange it. And so I would just spend most of my days driving back and forth from BrandSmart to my house until I could afford inventory. And then once I could afford inventory, which was if you've got about $5,000 or $7,000, you can have enough, for a day or maybe even a week of sales. And, I was installing the stuff, and my front yard was just filled with all kinds of characters all day and all night. And my father said, well, you kind of got to get your own store, because when he gets home from work and he wants to sleep, it sucks to have the driveway full of people. So I got my first store, and it was called Audio Ecstasy. And it went pretty okay. I was really lucky. I went to a school full of smart kids. And so when I hired my friends, they just happened to be all really smart because that's the school that I went to. So the first guy I hired, his name was Billy, had him do installs. Next guy I hired named Adam, I had him be the general manager. And then that freed up my time to start learning the next thing, right? So one of my super genius friends at the school I went to, he built his own shopping cart software. I mean, part of the reason I got into business at all on the wholesale side and started to build relationship with manufacturers is because my buddy was selling computers. And in Miami, you just drive down to 72nd Avenue and there's wholesalers for every single thing. If you want to sell tile, there's a tile wholesaler. If you want to sell car stereo, there's car stereo wholesaler. If you want to sell computers, every single wholesaler of every retail product is on 72nd Avenue in Miami. So he did computers. I ended up doing car stereo. And he built his own shopping cart software, and it has a what you see, what you get website editor, shopping cart built in, email built in. This is in the year 2000, 2001, 2002, which is pretty new, the stuff. And so I started selling that. And then you could private label it so people could do their own businesses with it. So if you wanted to build a shop that built websites, people just choose a template, put a new name on it, change a couple graphics, and you got a whole new website for, whatever kind of store you're targeting, right? Maybe you just do hair salons, maybe you just do auto repair shops. So I started selling his shopping cart, and then we got a client that did mortgages. So mortgage.com out of West Palm Beach, Boca Raton really, became a client, and we started generating a mortgage leads. It went pretty well. And then we transitioned into having my own mortgage company. So I became a licensed mortgage broker, got a correspondent lending license, which we didn't really do much with. And then we just basically started selling everything we could on the internet. So when I started my car stereo store to when I stopped it was about 2 years. And when I did internetmarketingmasters.com and did search engine optimization, lead generation, all that stuff, maybe that lasted about 2 years. Then we started doing mortgages, sex toys, cash advance loans, Miracle Cleaner, anything we could sell, anything that affiliates could sell. So when you have affiliates, they all have their own system of marketing. Some do spam, some do normal search engine optimization, some do call centers, some do radio, some do print, some do TV. And then it's your job to try and weed out, which ones the crappy ones are and which ones the good ones are. And then if you weed out a bad one, so let's say you terminate a guy for spamming, he's going to fuck you up. He's going to attack you. And the way he's going to attack you is going to find all your personal information. He's going to put it in a spam email, and he's going to send it to every journalist and every customer service desk and every list of antis to get pissed off at you. It's called a Joe job. So I've been Joe jobs a couple times in my life. Not to mention I've actually been sued for spamming personally as well, which is unrelated.
Yeah, and that is where the whole controversial stories come in.
Yeah.
But
we'll save it for the end if you want.
Let's wait with that. We're going to talk about, as we mentioned, gangsters and Panama, Viagra, and all of that. But let's save it to later. How did you get into cryptocurrencies? What is your Bitcoin?
So I was browsing Reddit because I just read Reddit all the time when I wasn't playing video games. I wasted about 10 years of my life just playing games. And I saw it when it was under $1. I was like, oh, that's weird. Okay. And then, but it was always interesting to me because I'd done so much sales on the internet that I knew what it was to have a merchant account and the fees that were charged and the problems that people have with billing on the internet. If you're a normal business, you pay maybe 1.59% for a swipe on a terminal because you win all the chargebacks because there's a physical card present. But as soon as you go on mail order or telephone order, MOTO, your rates go up to about 2.5%. So you're paying almost double for credit card processing anytime it's not a physical card present. And so I saw the opportunity of the Bitcoin system. And I didn't really understand that, it would take off and have legs until I saw the Wired article where people are using it in the darknet. And I thought that was really interesting. So I bought some Bitcoin at that article, like so many other people did on that bubble. And then I was already mining it ahead of time. But, when I got in and started mining it, I was mining on a 5970. And then it's basically two 5950s on the same card. And then the difficulty got so high so quickly that, I used to mine full blocks. You get 50 blocks in a reward. Then, it just got so difficult you couldn't get 50 blocks anymore. You just had to join a pool. So then you join a pool, and then that gets so difficult it's not even worth the electricity anymore, depending where you live. And then you basically just sell all your cards, right? And that's, if the price keeps dropping on Bitcoin, you're going to see people trying to sell their ASICs, but there's no resale market for them. So, So I got in originally as a miner and then a speculator, and then I just held it for a really, really, really long time.
And what year was that, did you say? When you get
2011, early 2011.
Right.
So
That's
I wasn't so I was introduced to the GPU mining in an IRC channel by the guy who wrote the first GPU mining program, Art4s. And, he was sending me pictures of his rig, which was a cardboard box. He was actually using a cardboard box to stick his GPUs in. I think he had risers, PCIe risers. But it's just like in Bitcoin, it's not how early you got in, it's how you didn't sell, right? So if you got in at 30 and sold at 1, you did bad. If you got in at 1,000 and sold at 266, you did bad. And now if you got in at 20 and you sell at 5, you did bad, right? So it's not how early you got in, it's how you didn't sell at the bottom, basically, or didn't buy at the top.
Mm-hmm. And so what is your current belief? You mentioned that you were a Bitcoin maximalist.
Yeah,
and
I was.
Actually, let's start with that. How did you become a Bitcoin maximalist? What was your background from Bitcoin to then you learned about Ethereum and you didn't see the point? Or how
Oh
did
no, I
you
saw
think
the
about
point. So, you know, I was happy to just be rich and play video games and read the Bitcoin subreddit. And then, you know, the Bitcoin subreddit is so well moderated that you wouldn't hear about altcoins, right? So from when I first got into Bitcoin, altcoins are all garbage, right? They were all, you know, pre-mined shitcoins, and there was no reason to ever screw with them. And I actually got blindsided by Ethereum. I had no idea that there was another cryptocurrency that was approaching the market cap of the thing that I was all in, because I never came off my radar. I just never noticed it. It was never on the Bitcoin subreddit, you know? So I was like, oh, what's this thing? Oh, it's gonna take over. It's gonna pass our market cap. Well, is it any good? And I started looking into it. And that's the only reason I came out publicly, was defend my investment against what I saw as something that sucked. So if you look at Ethereum, it's got a huge attack surface. It's already had the chain rolled back for the DAO. People lose hundreds of millions of dollars on it all the time because it's very easy to lose the money, because bugs are part of writing code. And if your code is financial code, you're going to have bugs and you're going to lose a lot of money. And Bitcoin, a long time ago, decided to turn off opcodes and turn off features for more security, whereas Ethereum did the exact opposite thing and gave Turing completeness, which gives you maximum bugs and other stupid things like default public instead of default private, which was the parity multisig hack, you know, and rounding errors. And like, if you go on Hacker News and read the threads of people that have tried to program Solidity, it's a joke. It's super, super, super hard. So when I found out that this thing was insecure and didn't have a cap on the coin issuance and was the world's most expensive computer, like if you want to do computation, you can't possibly pay more than doing it on Ethereum. So it's all bad stuff, right? It's not a good currency. And then now, so that's why I came out publicly. I was like, dude, this stuff sucks. Why are you guys buying this stuff? And now my opinion has kind of changed on the deal, because it turns out that the use case for cryptocurrencies isn't currency. It's switched, it changed. It's not what it was supposed to be. It's just speculation. It's just digital gold. And for digital gold, the security of Bitcoin is still awesome and still important, but you don't get the multi-headed Hydra Ponzi scheme roulette wheel of ticker symbols that comes out of Ethereum. So in Bitcoin, you buy it or you don't, it goes up or it doesn't. But in Ethereum, you know, I have an ICO that's not out yet, but when I'm done looking at Bitcoin charts, will be, you know, your play is on the success of all the other projects on top of it, right? So there's not really any projects that use Bitcoin as a substrate, right? They get shut off. Like Counterparty tried to use Bitcoin as a substrate. They got into a war over the block size and opcode size and terminated. Like they just got turned off, right? Because they're bloating the blockchain. And then everyone else has tried to like overlay on top of Bitcoin for extra projects, has found it very hard, right? So like the Yours guy, who's a JavaScript dev that tried to build a Reddit, but you pay for each article. Stupid. You know, he tried to use Bitcoin and it got too expensive. So if you care about ecosystem plays and a substrate on which you can layer other stuff, and then if that stuff succeeds, the other thing becomes valuable. Well, Ethereum has that, right? So if CryptoKitties takes off, Ethereum is going to go up in value. If, you know, one of the 100 or 200 other projects in Ethereum takes off, Ethereum is going to go up in value. So even though it's got a security issue, and it's like a honeypot for people to lose money through smart contracts, if you can minimize the security problems by using the least smart contract features possible, like just by using an ERC-223, then, you know, you can reduce your attack surface, just use audited code, you know, and then have an easy way to issue a token, right? So wallets.
I would say, so when it comes to Turing completeness, it is, as you say, Bitcoin, it's not that Bitcoin developers don't know how to do a Turing complete language. Bitcoin doesn't have a Turing complete language for several reasons. And you mentioned security, also, of course, spam prevention on Bitcoin. If you can have a loop and you don't have good spam prevention, that is a problem. But it also brings a lot of possibilities and new features, new opportunities for people to build on top of Ethereum. So in that sense, because they have solved the issue with spam using gas and charging for each instruction in your code that you want to execute, in my view, Turing complete languages have a valid use case, and it is a positive development for the blockchain technology as a whole. And for example, when we're talking about ICOs and unsecure code, when we're talking about bad code with bugs, and as you mentioned, it is hard to build good code in Solidity. And maybe not because Solidity is bad, although many people think so. I think it is just the mindset. People come from web background. They have been only doing JavaScript and web development, and they come with the mindset that this is like building websites. I can hotfix whenever I want it. While you need to have the mindset that you're building hardware. Easily change and update. You cannot patch them. So I think the issue with security is not necessarily in the technology. Of course, you can build better programming languages. You can replace Solidity with something else, which I think Ethereum is trying to do right now with the Viper. But a lot has to do with developers and just the mindset that this is still experimental. People are not really thinking about that, although it says on the Ethereum website that this is only experimental. And also that this is like building a house. You cannot change it. You need to have the mindset that this is a house, it will be here forever, and it is like building something with hardware. You cannot just hotfix. So what do you think about that? Do you agree with the points that Turing completeness is positive and is about the developers?
I think so. You can it's an issue of free will, right? So I believe that marketing works. And if you market to people that they should build financial projects on your buggy platform, some percentage of them are going to lose money. So if you know that for the history of writing code, that bugs are the law of the land, and you know that bugs are going to cost millions of dollars, then you really should use the absolute most audited and absolute least flexible and most locked down parts of the ecosystem that you can, so that you're not the beta tester that loses all the money, right? So for instance, Gavin Wood, who's in charge of Parity, who wrote Solidity, his company did the multi-sig hack. And you would have thought that multi-sig kept you more safe, not less safe. So all the people that did it right and used Parity multi-sig got demolished. Why? Because code is hard. So, I'm going to use Ethereum for my ICO because of the ease of wallet use. Everybody's already got the wallets, because the people that want to invest already have Ether, because the exchanges that want to list the token already have done integrations. And I'm just going to use the minimum amount of features. I'm just going to move the token, just the ERC-223. I'm not going to use it for any business logic. If Ethereum dies, we're going to be able to rotate into something that's still living and working. So I'm going to use the thing and try and route around its flaws. And then as far as like, if your project is built on Ethereum and their blocks are full, your project's dead. It's over. So what's up with that? Is that a competition to see who gets to critical mass first and gets to survive, right? So any blockchain doesn't scale, period. Does not. And so you have to have a plan to rotate into other technologies if the blocks just stay full from government attack, spam, other successful apps taking all the space, right? So, when there was a time when these ICOs were so popular and there was race conditions to get your transaction in before other people's to get in under the cap, where their system became paralyzed because of success. And CryptoKitties did the same thing. So I'm not big on attack surface. I like minimum viable products and minimum time to market and least security problems. So less is more, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. And also there is a good quote from one of the Ethereum developers, not exactly sure who, but the fact that smart contracts should be as dumb as possible. Yep. You shouldn't have a huge code base with smart contracts. Only do the critical thing you need to do on the blockchain. And that is also the mindset I think developers need to have. You have your application. Well, all of it doesn't need to be decentralized and be completely running on a blockchain. There are parts of it that can be using the features of the blockchain. And blockchain is not a silver bullet that just solves everything. This is also a mindset people need to have, in my view, when they're experimenting with Ethereum and with blockchain, that it is not for everything.
Well, it's only for one thing, to tell you the truth. I mean, the only thing a blockchain does well is censorship resistance, if it's a decentralized blockchain. When Ethereum rolled back the DAO, it was not a decentralized decision. Something like 1% of Ethereum holders voted to do the carbon rollback or whatever, and that was it, right? A decision was made to roll back the chain and undo all the things blockchain is supposed to do. And what if a government goes to Canada, to the Ethereum Foundation, is like, yo, you need to roll these things back, right? So decentralization and censorship resistance is the only good thing a blockchain does. So from that perspective, Bitcoin is the most decentralized, token. However, you trade that censorship resistance ability for, you don't get to list a million other tokens on top of it. And if tokens are what everybody wants, and that's the most successful app, well, I mean, look at Ethereum. Ethereum's only down 30% from its top. Bitcoin's down 63% from its top. Which one would you rather own? You want the one that dropped by a third, or you want the one that dropped by 2/3, right? Then you've got seasonality. Ethereum always pumps in the beginning of the year, and then Bitcoin will catch up from June onwards. So from seasonality perspective, from a number of devs perspective, from a project, using it perspective, Ethereum's doing a lot better than Bitcoin, even though it's less secure. It's a good deal. I mean, I'm even going to use it because it's the best game in town if you want to have a token, period.
So how do you mean it's less secure? We can talk about security as hashing power, and it's not that Vitalik or the Ethereum team can force everyone to change or to roll back, and it's not that they forced the DAO fork either. It was just
they did though. They did force it,
but they have a lot of influence. That is what they have.
No, but they actually forced it though. They chose the default, okay? And if you have power of the default, then you might as well just have all the votes, because people are lazy and stupid. Most people didn't even know that there was a vote that they could participate in. They didn't understand what the vote meant. So if you change the default to what it wasn't originally, you have executed your will in the system and you have cheated. So when they did that rollback, the default choice, if you didn't vote, the default choice was the rollback. The power of the default breaks the whole, oh, this was the will of the people crap. Now look, that was then. And now the system's probably a ton more decentralized. So, they might not be able to perform that ever again, right? It may be decentral enough now, but it surely was a centralized decision then.
And something else I've read you write about Ethereum is that it is the mother of
scam. The mother scam. Yeah.
The mother scam.
Yep.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, if you look at these ICOs, 99% of them are bad business ideas that shouldn't be done and wouldn't be funded in the normal world. And, people are happy to fund them in this reality because it's such a mania that everything pumps. Every stupid idea pumps. Every PDF pumps. And so me, the smart guy that doesn't invest in scams, I'm actually the stupid guy because I could have made mad gains buying every scam early. But, I don't want to buy scams. So now I have less money, right? Just like buying Ethereum in the first place. I don't want to buy an uncapped sale. It seems like a bad deal. I give money and I have no idea what percentage I own. Oh, look, I really wish I did buy Ethereum, right? So, being a Bitcoin maximalist has cost me millions of dollars. And, so I figured out the only way to get the scams to go away. You got 3 ways you can try and get scams to go away. You can complain to your regulator. There's not enough manpower. There's not enough people to file actions to screw over all the scammers. And even if there was enough manpower, they just scurry like cockroaches into other jurisdictions, and then there's still not enough manpower, right? So, if you want to gamble on the internet, it's always going to be there. If you want to buy drugs on the internet, it's always going to be there. And if you want to buy tokens on the internet, it's always going to be there. It ain't going away, ever. So regulation isn't going to solve the problem. It could make a dent in it, but it's not going to solve it. So what's the next thing you could do? You could try and complain to all the noobs. Hey, noobs, stop buying scams. Please stop buying scams, noobs. And guess what? They don't hear you. They don't believe you. and you can't afford to put your message in front of their eyeballs because you can't afford to pay for the clicks because you're not making anything saving them from being scammed. But the scammer is making tons of money on screwing them and can pay for the ads, right? So Facebook bans Bitcoin ads. So guess what people are advertising now? BitCO letter numeral 1N, right? So they're just doing misspells and weird language characters to still do the advertising. So trying to convince people to not get scammed doesn't work. So regulation doesn't work. Trying to tell people to stop getting scammed doesn't work. So what's the only thing that could actually work? Having more good projects outcompete the bad projects. It's the only chance you have. So if you've got a good project that's actually successful, then you could have more money coming in from retail. So for instance, my project, we do science. As long as we're giving people a good deal and getting their scientific processing done, we'll get more retail money in, and then we'll get all the normal crypto hype money in because it's another token, right? So we've got crypto hype token money, and then we've got, actual good business. Get your processing done fast and accurate and affordable. And then we've got real money. And then we should be able to pay miners more, and we should be able to pay more for ads. If that doesn't work, if real projects with real teams and, not vaporware, if real software can't beat the scams, then nothing can. It's the only hope is that better teams do real projects and it outcompetes the scams for money.
So I agree with you with the fact that ICOs are really out of control, and Facebook banning the ads, I totally understand.
Good. Yeah,
because with Facebook you can target groups very, very specifically. So you can target people who have no idea about cryptocurrencies. They have never heard about something else besides Bitcoin. And Bitcoin is this thing that has gone up a lot in value. That is the only thing people know. And now they see their chance as well. Yeah. So in that sense, and the crazy thing is, as I told my viewers on the stream, I saw ICO ads on Tinder, on the dating app.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And ICOs are really getting out of control. I ordered a design for my YouTube profile, and the guy who did the design on the internet saw my YouTube and was like, I'm in this ICO, what do you think about it? What do you think about this ICO X?
Yeah.
So something that gets me thinking when I hear this is that we're in a bubble. We're in a huge cryptocurrency bubble.
Yep.
And so with your experience from the internet bubble, I mean, you said that you did internet marketing. You were in the internet space back then. What are your thoughts? My thoughts is that in a few years, this will not end good. And I
don't think you got to wait years.
We will probably see huge crash in Bitcoin, in ICOs all over the board when it comes to cryptocurrencies. And that is when the real development will start. After that, we will see real good projects on the blockchain.
So we're already down in Bitcoin 65%. Okay. That ain't a bull market. You don't drop 65% in a bull market. I've been staring at these charts for months.
We went to 20,000 in 2 weeks from 8,000.
I know. So here's how bubbles work. People don't want to buy red. They want to buy green. Okay. People don't want to buy losers. They want to buy winners. So a retail investor sees something that's gone up a lot. He buys it because, oh man, this thing's hot. It's going to go up more. But a professional investor looks at something that's gone up a lot and goes, oh, that's a bad deal. I'll wait for it to pull back, retrace, hit the Wyckoff throwback, whatever, right? So retail investors have a noob, fear of missing out mentality. And funny enough, this bubble has run so high, so hard, so fast that everyone's got rich doing that, except for the guys that just bought in and they got screwed. And maybe the guys that are buying now, they might get screwed too, right? So if the only reason people are buying the stuff is because it's going up and it stops going up, there's no reason to buy it anymore. That's what's up. If you don't have the only people that have a legitimate need to buy cryptocurrencies are darknet guys, and they buy Monero. They don't buy Bitcoin. Bitcoin's traceable. Would you send someone Bitcoin if you were worried about getting caught? No. It's public. No privacy whatsoever. Pseudo-anonymity, right? So no one actually has to buy Bitcoin. So the only good thing that it has going for it right now is that it's going up. But it stopped doing that, right? So I would always give people the advice, hey, we're in a bull market. It never pulls back more than 40%. So take on some leverage and then you'll double your gains. And the only way you're going to get stopped out or lose money is if it drops, in half right when you invested, right after. and it's statistically unlikely looking at the chart. And so over the last couple of weeks, we dropped 45 and then went up a bit, and then dropped 45 again, and then went up again, and now we dropped another 35 in a couple of weeks. You do not drop 45, 45, 35 in 3 or 4 weeks and still call it a bull market. It ain't a bull market. The bull market's over. The bull market is dead. Bitcoin is going down. That's what's up. So when you chart Bitcoin, you've got the old peaks, the old tops, okay? And you'll hit the trend line, you'll bounce off. You'll hit the trend line, you bounce off. And then we blew through the trend line from 4,000 all the way to 20,000. And then we fell back down and we hit the trend line to see if it would still support us. So old resistance becomes support, right? And we had a chance to bounce at 15, 13, 10, 9, 8, and every single...
I'm not sure that works. I'm not sure technical analysis works in cryptocurrencies because there are so many unknowns. There are so many... if you think about market manipulation, if you think about news that can be made up, how can you really...
It works so good.
You think it works? Why?
I know it works. I absolutely 100% know it works. And I used to be like you, and I used to think, oh, this is dumb. You can't draw lines on a chart and think that means anything. It turns out that it's human beings, for the most part, deciding whether to buy or not, okay? And everyone's looking at the same chart, and everyone's drawing the same lines. So it's an emergent property, okay? If we know we see resistance at numbers that have a bunch of zeros at the end, right? 20K, 10K, 5K, right? Because it's called a Schelling point. So the theory behind a Schelling point is, and it was a scientist or psychologist named Mr. Schelling, and he said, I did a survey of people. If you lost track of your friend in New York and you couldn't communicate with him anymore and you were trying to find him again, to meet up with him again, and he was also feeling the same way, where would you guys meet? And everyone chose Grand Central Station at noon. Everybody. Why? Because we guess what other people would guess, and we emerge on this single point, this pivot point, Schelling point. So in markets, you have the same thing, right? So if you can't break 5K, you can't break 5K, you can't break 5K, now you can. So you had that pent up energy and you blew through it. It's in everyone's mind. It's a line in the sand. And so you see these in volume profiles. So when you turn on the volume profile, you can see that this price has a ton of volume and then nothing. And then this price has a ton of volume and then nothing. Then you can put your bids and your asks in those points, and then you're more likely to get hit and then have support under you, or sell and have resistance to back you up. So, I mean, if you don't understand what technical analysis is, and you don't understand that resistance becomes support and Schelling points and volume profile, then you don't actually know what technical analysis is. It really, truly does work because other people think it does.
My point is not that technical analysis doesn't work at all. I'm sure people can use it and are using it successfully in stock market and on more established and bigger markets. My point is more that because it's so small, the market in cryptocurrencies, and we have, it is very volatile and so easy to manipulate. Many people have different interests. Even if everyone is looking at the same chart, now that we can have short positions and we have big money moving in, even if you look at the same chart, people might have different interests, and you never know exactly what is going on. And also Tether and this whole conspiracy with Tether and how many dollars are actually used in Bitcoin trading that maybe don't even exist. So what is your view on that? Would you say that technical analysis works as well in small markets that can be manipulated, such as cryptocurrencies, as it does in big markets?
It works better. So in a real market, you have real demand. And that real demand that's not speculation forces people to buy or sell, regardless of what the chart says and regardless of what the price is. If you need gas, you're going to have to buy it, right? If you mine gas out of the ground, if you mine oil, you got to sell it. You got bills to pay. So commodities and businesses that have real business cycles, real adoption, real utility, have crappier looking, harder to predict charts. When the only thing going on in the chart is speculators, and everyone's looking at the same chart, and we all believe in the fractals, right? So you look at what it did before, and you assume it's going to do it again until something proves it different. Real demand and real adoption screws up the chart, right? So the charts now are screwed up because of Wall Street getting in and the futures getting in and more investment firms getting in, they're screwing up the charts. It's much harder to trade because the market isn't acting like it used to. You used to be able to buy any 40% dip for a couple of years and make a lot of money, right? Oh, 40% drop? Thank God. I'm going 3x long. Goes back up the 40%. You're up 120%. Life's great. Now you buy the 40% dip, you get blown out. You get demolished, right? So we're on our third, almost 45% dip in a couple of weeks. The market has changed. And see, this is what I mean. If you're in a fight, right? And there's like one big bully guy and his three little bitch friends. If you hit the bully guy real hard and he sees blood, the friends kind of are like, oh yeah, all right, maybe we ain't gonna go in on that. But if the bully starts doing good and pounding you real good, his friends are gonna jump in too, right? It's the same with the market. If the only reason you buy Bitcoin is because it's going up, it stops going up, why the fuck would you buy it? Why would you buy it? The only good thing going on is that the price was going up. It ain't doing that anymore. And it does this every January and February. So maybe in June, it just starts, holding above resistance instead of continually dying and pointing this way instead of that way. And then you can long it and be happy with your investment. But every time it does this 65% drop crap, it's a 2 or 3 year bear market. You want to sit through a 2 or 3 year bear market with a 90% drop? I've done it a couple times. To tell you the truth, I'm fucking sick of it. I don't want to sit through another 2 or 3 year bear market. And I'll tell you another thing. Why would I buy Bitcoin when I can make my own tokens? Why would I do that? Why would I buy Ethereum when I can make my own tokens? My token actually makes the world a better place by doing science. What do these fucking tokens do? Burn electricity doing SHA-256. How about I take that same hardware that's wasting its energy doing SHA-256 and do computational fluid dynamics instead? Actually use the hardware with some of the power that was spent, hundreds of millions of dollars to put into it, right? I mean, turning GPUs and CPUs into retarded SHA-256 doers is a huge waste of not only electricity, but the skill of the engineers that built the chips. It's terrible. You've got a very powerful, very useful multi-purpose tool there that you're turning into a retard by doing SHA-256 over and over again. And oftentimes for projects that don't need it, like Zcash, right? So Zcash has a lot of GPU miners on it because it's relatively memory latency hard really. And those GPUs that could do so many cool things with machine learning or oil and gas modeling or CFD modeling like what we're doing, instead, they're made into retarded Zcash miners and no one uses the anonymity in the project anyway. Zcash's anonymity is a fucking option.
Proof of work and proof of stake and other consensus algorithms later. Guys, we have almost 2,000 people watching. Amazing to see all of you here. Very welcome. Just a reminder, we have Richard Heart with us today, former Bitcoin maximalist, not anymore. We've talked about Ethereum. Next, we're going to talk about Bitcoin Cash. Then we have IOTA on the line. Then we're going to talk about Richard's past, because when I tweeted that we're going to do a live stream, many people were very interested in Viagra and different...
The scammer, Richard the scammer. I'm going to get your money.
Tell about you. And you are a controversial figure because of those stories. So it's going to be very interesting to see your take on this situation. And many people are interested. I've seen in the chat a lot. So smash the likes, guys. We have almost 2,000 people watching. And if you are excited, if you learned anything till now, and want to learn more, smash the likes. And our next topic is Bitcoin Cash. So first of all, I want to introduce the subject that in August, Bitcoin Cash forked from Bitcoin. And the whole idea, the way they market it, the way they talk about it is that we want to stay true to Satoshi's vision. We do not want to have SegWit because that is not aligned with the initial vision. We're not really for Lightning Network. We just want to increase the block size and stay true to Satoshi's vision. And we have people such as Roger Ver, who really, something you have to give him is that he really pushed Bitcoin in the early days, switching to Bitcoin Cash. So in your opinion, what is the motivation behind doing Bitcoin Cash when we talk about the truth? Is it true what they're telling the public, or do they have other motives? And what is the agenda for example, Roger Ver? Why is he so passionate about Bitcoin Cash? Because something that I find strange is that it feels that he's personally attached to Bitcoin Cash. He gets really upset when people call it Bcash. He takes it personally. So in my view, if it was just some kind of plan, some kind of scam or whatever, he wouldn't take it so personally. So I'm very curious to hear your opinion on Bitcoin Cash and the whole situation.
Sure. So rich and powerful people want power more than they want money. So once you've got more money than you know how to spend, you're basically stacking zeros in your bank account. And so what's left to a person that has more money than they know what to do with? Power. So libertarians are particularly power oriented. We want the maximum personal power for our family, our team, our friends, ourselves. And when you take a libertarian that's extremely wealthy and you see what he wants to do, what he wants is more control. So Roger tried to control Bitcoin development with Bitcoin XT, Bitcoin Unlimited, and then when none of those worked and he couldn't find any developers that wanted to work with him, he latched on to someone else who had a project called Bitcoin ABC with a developer out of France called Amaury Sachet, or Sachet, and then that became Bcash. And they're so retarded that they didn't even know what to call the thing, because it's supposed to be called Bitcoin ABC. That's what the repository is called of software. That's what the code is called, Bitcoin ABC. It's still called Bitcoin ABC. So they had to come up with a name for it. And there was a disagreement. Is it going to be Bcash, BCC, BCH, Bitcoin Cash? And if they were smart, they would have just used Bcash. It's a better brandable name. And all successful brands isolate themselves. And if they're not isolated enough, they change their name. So for instance, IBM laptops became Lenovo laptops. And then, they got bought by China. And GoTo became Overture. And I could go through the list of companies that have rebranded just to have a funny sounding unique name. So if I were in charge of the Bcash project, I would call it Bcash. And everyone else calls it Bcash, not because they hate it or they dislike it, but because it's shorter and easier and it's a better brand. So Bcash is a superior brand than Bitcoin Cash. But for some reason...
I would agree that Bcash is more catchy, or it clings to your brain. But I personally call it Bitcoin Cash just to not take the conversation from the real facts, the real fundamentals, the real argument to the name, because people get upset. Roger Ver, I don't know if you saw this live stream where he really got upset and just quit.
Well, it's very libertarian to force someone else to use your language, right? It's very libertarian to not allow people free speech. Sounds not libertarian to me, right? I mean, you take a guy like Jordan Peterson, who's constantly saying, I'm not going to use your words, right? With your 75 gender types and changes by the minute, and then I get burnt if I use the wrong one at the wrong minute. How about, I just call you buddy or whatever, right? It's just faster and easier. For a libertarian to try and force words down your throat, it's a little gross. And for a libertarian that shit talks the original developers whose code he copies and profits from every day is a little gross. So hundreds of people have put hundreds and thousands of hours into building Bitcoin to be the good software that it is. And for him to copy their work and then shit talk them and call them evil is gross, in my opinion. And he wants the Bitcoin name for the same reason that he puts it in the Bitcoin.com wallet. He owns Bitcoin.com, and he's trying to shove you the crypto that he owns the most of. He dumped his Bitcoin, he bought Bitcoin Cash, and now he's trying to shove it down your throat. Why? Because he wants to have more control, more power, and more money. It's easy, right? I mean, people want to make more money. He wants to make more money. He owns Bitcoin Cash, not Bitcoin. He wants Bitcoin Cash's price to go up. Easy.
But so in my view, you talk about power as a motivational factor, but if we think about the Maslow pyramid, you need the basic needs, you need protection, you need shelter, you need food, sex, the basic needs. But the higher you go in the hierarchy, the less important money and resources becomes. And then you talk about power, that's one way, but also many people who become wealthy also want to change the world. They want to be remembered for something. And that is why I don't really understand Roger Ver. He had the perfect opportunity to keep working with Bitcoin and to really be this positive figure as he was. And that is why it is confusing for me when it comes to this motivation, only power. And I mean, he has tried with, as you said, Bitcoin Unlimited and other Bitcoin projects that try to replace Bitcoin Core. And that is why I'm still not really buying the fact that it's only for power. But if we just take their perspective...
Well, let me ask you a question, okay?
Yeah,
So if he doesn't care about power, then he cares about good software, right?
Yeah.
Well, why are his software developers fucking idiots? Why has no good software developer wanted to work with him? Why has he done no Bitcoin improvement protocols? Why has he got fucking 0 bips applied to the Bitcoin software? Why doesn't he hire a team of devs to help improve the Bitcoin that he loves so much and owns the .com name? He doesn't. It's just like Coinbase, okay? Coinbase makes $1 billion a year. Probably 80% of that is Bitcoin sales. And how many Bitcoin improvement proposals have they done? And how many pull requests have they done? Fucking nothing, right? So don't tell me you love a software and you want to improve the software and don't have any devs trying to fucking improve it. It's a joke. It's retarded, right? I have more devs working on my project than they have improving Bitcoin. So, I mean,
So what is the motivation for Coinbase to support Bitcoin Cash and with the New York agreement?
Oh,
What
they
is
just
their
make more money.
But won't they make more money if Bitcoin just grows and develops? Because they, in that case, they must understand that they're working against Bitcoin.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's very public. The CEO of Coinbase said, I own more Ethereum than I own Bitcoin. You have to go where the developers are. I believe Ethereum is going to go up in price more than Bitcoin. These are his words, the CEO, right? So why wouldn't you want your project? I mean, here's the other thing, right? So let's say I owned $1 million of Bitcoin. And let's say I owned $200,000 of Byteball, just for fun, right? Thought experiment. For me to make 200 grand in Bitcoin, Bitcoin's got to go up 20%. So what is that? It's got to go from, what's the price now? We'll call it 8 grand. It's got to go up $1,600. It's got to go from 8 grand to 9,600 for me to make 200 grand, right? But Byteball, I think, is like 7.07. So for me to make 200 grand on Byteball, it just needs to go from 0.07 to 0.14. It's just easier to pump the smaller market cap coins. So it doesn't matter who you are in the business world. It doesn't matter who you are in the token world. If some portion of your holdings is a lower market cap coin, it's just easier for that coin to pump and make large outsized percentage gains. So it's easier to find an extra $100 million to throw in a shit coin that's worth $100 million than it is to find a couple $100 billion to make Bitcoin go up 100%. So if you want Bitcoin to go up 100%, you got to find $100 billion. You want to have a shit coin go up 100%, you could do it with 10 times less money. So it's just a difference in math. If you have like for me, what am I going to make more money doing? Promoting my token that I own a whole ton of, or promoting Bitcoin where I own one zillionth of the available supply? Anyone that's good at marketing, if they're intelligent, is going to evolve into promoting a coin that has a lower market cap because you get more percentage return. What do you think the chances are that Bitcoin's going to go to 50 grand in the next 6 months? 0, negative $1 million? Like it's not happening, right? But some of these crap coins, scam coins, will quadruple. Bitcoin ain't going to quadruple, but these crap coins will, which is why the crap coins are taking all the market cap. They're taking all the dominance because no one wants to buy Bitcoin. No one wants to make 30%. They want to make 300%, 3,000%. And so that's why everyone buys ICOs and everyone buys altcoins. And that's why Bitcoin's price keeps going down. And that's why Ethereum only dropped 1/3 and Bitcoin dropped 2/3. No one uses this shit as a currency. Everyone uses it as a speculative vehicle. And as long as that's what the game is, well, what are you going to do? Try and preach? I tried that. I tried to preach. I did everything I could to get the Bitcoin price to go up and to get everything else to go down. I did my best. Well, I'm at the end of that road.
So what about the other Bitcoin forks in your view? Is it any value to those forks?
Yeah. Yes.
Or is it just people who see this trend that forks become valuable, just create a fork and cash out? Or is it?
Well, some of them cash out and some of them don't, right? So, I mean, some of these forks have held their value. Some of them haven't. When I look at the cryptomaps.org heat map, I do see that Bitcoin Gold appears to have a large market cap. Bitcoin Cash appears to have a large market cap. And there's a chance that these projects, if they suck today, could unsuck at some time in the future, right? So, what if, God forbid, Bitcoin became under attack? We could fall over to one of the other Bitcoins very easily. So there is some redundancy. There is some market segmentation, demographics. There are some attracting of developers that, makes the whole ecosystem slightly stronger when there's more pitches and styles of coins with faster and slower blocks, bigger and smaller blocks, different hashing, equihash, Scrypt, which is Litecoin, which is a fork of Bitcoin, right? People even forget that. Like, people don't understand for some reason. Like, Litecoin was the first fork of Bitcoin, right? And then Bcash was just yet another fork, right? And all,
But the difference is that Litecoin was only the source code was forked, copied, but not the actual transaction history.
Right.
While now people are forking both source code and transaction history to get momentum and get people on board. And so something interesting is that we talk about this notion that the Bitcoin has a limited supply, only 21 million. But if we just keep creating new Bitcoins each week, and now there's this website called ForkGen, you can make your own Bitcoin in 5 minutes. Doesn't it defeat the purpose of 21 million Bitcoin?
Kind of. So it's like, it's the same answer as the last one. So is Ethereum another cryptocurrency that competes with Bitcoin? Kind of, but not really, right? So Ethereum appealed to world computer, hippie, kumbaya nerds. Bitcoin appealed to gun-toting, steak-eating libertarians. It is a different appeal. It's a different market segment. No one's using this stuff retail. There's no successful app that has adoption. None, right? So really all you have is an investment thesis and a sales pitch to a demographic type of human being. So Bitcoin got the libertarians. Ethereum got the, hippie, purple, pony lovers, right? And then, I guess the get rich quick guys are a subsection of the Ethereum guys. They just want to buy anything that pumps, right? So day traders will buy any token, they don't care as long as it pumps. Noobs will buy any token, they don't care as long as it pumps. And so you can't appeal to every one of these vertical segments unless you're different. You have a different name, and you've got different branding, and the friends that referred to them were from a different circle. So I don't think Bitcoin and Ethereum actually compete as much as you would think, right? So I don't think that a new token coming online, and I'll give you another proof of that, right? So if it were the case that other tokens screwed over the core tokens, well then why did the core tokens go to all-time highs in a giant mania, a giant bubble, the biggest the world's ever seen? Why did they do that the same time that there was a viral exponential growth of shitcoins? If it was true that shitcoins and inflation killed the system, well then the main coin should have died from the shitcoin inflation, but they didn't. They all pumped together, right? So my analogy is that as long as Bitcoin and Ethereum are the gateways by which you buy a shitcoin, that Ethereum and Bitcoin will pump in value. However, that breaks as more fiat pairs are added to exchanges. So every time Coinbase adds another shitcoin, that's one less reason to buy Bitcoin or Ethereum to get your shitcoin, because you can get your shitcoin directly, right? So if you wanted to buy Litecoin in the past, you had to buy Bitcoin and then trade it for Litecoin. And then that float, that amount of time between the buy and the sale, would continue to grow, right? Whereas now you can just buy it directly. And so every fiat pair that gets added to an exchange kills the main coins because there's no reason to buy them, right? Like why would I buy Bitcoin to buy something else when I could just buy something else? And there's also a disadvantage because not only have they gone up so high percentage-wise that it's extremely hard for them to keep going up higher. If for Bitcoin to keep doubling, it becomes worth more than the value of the planet Earth quickly, right? Like you can't keep doubling. That shit don't work. So you only double so many times until you hit a cap like, okay, it's absurd, right? It's also a unit bias. So would you rather buy 10 shitcoins for $50 or one 1/100th of a Bitcoin? Nobody wants 1/100th of anything, right? It sucks. Nobody likes to use the decimals. And so people would much rather buy a $300 Litecoin than a $20,000 Bitcoin with which they can only afford 0.0015 or whatever, right?
That's true. Many people don't think about the total supply and how much things are actually worth if you have the same supply as Bitcoin. But another point I want to make is you mentioned that the tokens went up in value a lot. So did Bitcoin and Ethereum, but it can have to do with the fact that it's just so much new money that has entered the field, and everything is just moving upward because so many people are learning about blockchain and cryptocurrencies and want to speculate. And so in that sense, we also see the dominance of Bitcoin going down. And that is also when I say that Bitcoin has a limited cap. I also feel that sometimes it's not really true anymore with all the forks. And this is something we also have to keep in mind. It's not set in stone, really, if you have many different Bitcoins.
So I think that the bubble is over. And I think the bubble will come back in a couple of years. But for right now, it's done. There ain't no more greater fools. Everyone's grandparents are in. Everyone's parents are in. Everywhere you go, people are talking about it. Everyone that has got money is in. Now, there was one thing that was going to make us go higher, and that was Wall Street, right? So my thesis was, we're going to get in before Wall Street, and Wall Street's going to get in with their futures before Main Street and Joe Blow can get in with an ETF, right? So we're going to get in, and then the futures, and then the ETF, right? But what happened was everybody got in, including Wall Street, through the OTC desks. Everybody bought the price up, no volatility, straight up, right? Very little volatility. Now we're doing this, but a couple months ago we were just doing this. Nope, like very little volatility. So everybody got in, everyone bought the rumor, and then the news came. And then the futures actually launched. Didn't do much volume, and everyone dumped hard, super dumped it, right? And if you draw a chart now, like if you take the CME futures and you just chart it, it's just straight line down. It's terrible. It's the worst. 20K, it was higher. Like in Korea, it was $26,000. No more premium in Korea now. Korea is actually at a minus. It's at a deficit now. You can buy Bitcoin cheaper in Korea. You can buy Bitcoin cheaper in Australia than you can in the West now. But a couple weeks ago, they had multi-$1,000 premiums, right? So you went from a $26,000 Korean Bitcoin to a $7,500 Bitcoin. And my calculation was slightly wrong. You know, I didn't know that it could dump so fast, so hard when the news was so good. We got SegWit, we got Lightning, we got all this great stuff, and Wall Street's just not buying, right? So TD Ameritrade listed it. No one's buying. CME, CBOE listed it. No one's buying. Well, if Wall Street ain't going to buy it, and they're going to sell it instead because they already bought it, well, who the fuck's left to buy it? Nobody, right? That's it, right? Like you see Venezuela. Venezuela going to buy Bitcoin? No. Venezuela's launched an ERC20 token on Ethereum, right? So Venezuela ain't buying Bitcoin. Well, who the fuck's going to buy it then, right? And that's the reason the price dropped 2/3. And I don't really know where the floor is, because I don't. What am I going to use it for? What am I going to use Bitcoin for? Can't launch my token with it. Can't pay my rent with it. What am I going to do with it? You send it to your bank, they shut your fucking bank account off.
So I would say that I would say that maybe we'll have a few years to go still with this bubble we're talking about. I mean, you
with no Facebook ads and no ads in China, and like the SEC doing meetings and shutting it down, and like, dude, the only hope we had to maintain the mania was Wall Street, and Wall Street told us to fuck ourselves. There ain't nobody left, and there ain't no good news left either. Like, what's the good news we're gonna get? We got Lightning already. We got SegWit already. Bcash already died already, right? It went up to half, or and then died, and now it's crappy, right? What's left? And why aren't we going to get the flippening? Why isn't Ethereum going to flip it in Bitcoin now?
Well,
it should. It will.
When it comes to SegWit and Lightning, technologies are online, but they're not really used. So potential good news could be that more and more businesses actually use them. I mean, Coinbase doesn't use SegWit. Many businesses don't use SegWit because it's hard to implement for them still. There's just no value in doing it currently, and so they don't do it. But the other thing is, the other thing that many people haven't discovered cryptocurrencies yet. There are many young people who are now talking about it, but when we're talking, if you compare it to .com bubble or to Tulip Mania, I think we're too far from there. Many people don't know what things are besides Bitcoin, and they've only heard about Bitcoin on the television and heard that it is a scam. Soon they will learn that Bitcoin has actual use case when it comes to hyperinflation, when it comes to those other countries. You say that Venezuela is using a ERC20 token, this petroleum cryptocurrency. That is the government that is doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, the citizens, they don't care about this government token.
Their citizens use shitcoins, by the way, more than they use Bitcoin. And by the way, Lightning runs on other tokens too. It doesn't just run on Bitcoin. You can run Lightning on whatever the fuck you want. It's open source.
But I'm talking about the whole ecosystem as a whole, not particularly Bitcoin, but that the whole ecosystem has still room to grow before we see a huge collapse across the board, which I think will happen.
Dog, you're down 65%. What the fuck are you talking about? It's done. Like, there is no before huge collapse. Like, look at the fucking chart. We're fucked. We're fucked. Like, the bubble's over, dude. 65% is a huge fucking collapse. Like, but I mean, guess what, dude?
But what I mean is that we were at 9,000 in November, December.
Yeah.
And then we had this huge spike, and now we're back at. So it's not that we were confirmed at those highs. It's not that this was a stable high, and then it.
So you're saying we can go farther down? I assume. Because we didn't go far enough yet. I mean,
I think that my personal opinion that we can go further upwards before we have a collapse that is way more significant than what we have seen up until now.
If another Asian country FOMOs and does what Korea did, like, here's the problem, right? The reason that all these bubble collapses look the same across all industries is because they all fail in the same way. People bought because the price was going up. That's the only reason they bought, is because the price was going up. And then it goes down enough that people are like, oh, okay, well, that sucks. Well, let's buy the dip. Then they buy the dip. And then you retrace 75%, right? So you go to your peak, then you drop, and then you retrace 75%, and everyone's like, oh, back to normal. And then you start dropping a little slower, and people buy the dip and get liquidated. And they buy the dip and they get liquidated. And they buy the dip and they get liquidated. And then they're like, wait a second. Something's wrong here. I keep getting annihilated. And every single bubble chart looks the exact same. Exponential, blow off top, 75% drop, back to normal, anxiety, denial, disbelief, fear, capitulation, bull trap, and then you do the whole thing over again. And I don't care how much adoption you find. It will never equal the same rate at which we grew in the past. So if you can't equal the same rate, you just basically have, like, your boat has a giant hole in it and you have a bucket, and your bucket's your adoption, right? So you've got a football-sized hole in your rowboat, and you've got your bucket of adoption, and you're like, yo, we got new users. But the 20 zillion billion guys that got in no time that are dumping on us now, you can't get enough adoption to keep the water out, and you just sink. And it happens in every single bubble. There's no way, like, you could get everyone in the world to start using Lightning. The price will push down harder in the slow and midterm because it makes it easier to spend, but not easier to buy. So now, like, even if you get Lightning adoption and you make it easier for people to spend, now you're hoping that people don't spend these Bitcoins that aren't useful for any fucking other thing. And, you you hope they don't dump them. Please don't dump them, even though we made it even easier for you to dump them by increasing the places you can spend them. Please buy more, replace them, right? It doesn't work. That's the reason all bubble pops look the same. Because even if you get adoption and even if things look good, it can't come close to canceling out the dumping pressure from the bazillion people that just got in. That's why you need more greater fools to keep the mania going. Every bubble looks the same and every bubble crashes the same.
I agree with you on that. I think the timing perspective is what we disagree upon, and it will be interesting to see the future, how it plays out.
How will you know? How will you know if the bubble's not over? You need to get above resistance and hold there for a while, right? So if you look at the trend line, 9,200 was the previous old resistance, and we had a lot of volume there. And we just got over it yesterday, and we tried to hold over it. Couldn't do it. Died. So if you want to see a bull market again, what you need to do is get over a shelling point, get over some resistance to say, this is the line in the sand, we're not going under this, and stay there and go up for a while. But every time we get to resistance, if we're even lucky enough to get back up to it, we fucking capitulate and die straight down. So I'll be a bull as soon as I see anything that looks bullish. And right now,
so would you say that we're in the same position as we were in early 2014, late 13? and
It's
we'll have
slightly
a bear market for several years.
it's slightly different because that bubble was more artificial than this bubble. So that bubble had Willie Bot on Mt.Gox buying coins with invented free money, stealing customer money to buy coins. So Mt.Gox's Willie Bot buying coins with money it didn't really have made that bubble a little higher than it should have been. This time, the shape is just about identical. Everyone got fucked.
Tether.
You know, man, I tell people that Tether sucks, but normal exchanges suck too. But in reality, is it such a great defense that something else sucks too, right? Like, let me give you an example about Tether. Let's say that all the money's in the banks, okay? And no one's having any problems withdrawing it. And everything's legit, totally legit. When people start to withdraw it, you know what the bank's going to do? The bank's going to find a reason that they don't like you anymore. We got a letter from some regulator in Lithuania. And he doesn't really like that the Lithuanian citizens have not been paying their taxes. So we kind of got to seize these funds because we got this letter, right? So I don't give a shit whether you, as a Bitcoin company, have a bank account with a bank and all the money's there. When you start to withdraw enough of it, the bank's going to turn you the fuck off because they prefer to keep that money. That's the reason they're working with you in the first place. The only banks that'll work with a Bitcoin company without a New York license are shitty banks that aren't making any money. Because why would they risk their reputation to work with this shady stuff unless they were making some money and needed it, right? And then as soon as their bank relationships get threatened and their upstream banks are like, yeah, we're not going to process your wires to New York anymore. They're not going to get cleared anymore. Do you like sending wires to New York? You do? Okay, well, you're going to turn off Bitstamp's account or you're going to turn off Bitfinex's account, right? So, I mean, if you wanted a bank, if you wanted a Bitcoin counterparty that's probably the one to withstand bank shutoffs the most, it's going to be one with a New York license. Because at least they could go, hey, look, the government said we were cool. Please get us an account. Pretty please, right? That's the reason these guys have already been through 10 or 20 accounts because the banks keep shutting them off, right? So, you know, even if Tether's 100% legit, it don't mean they have access to the money because as soon as they try and withdraw enough of it, there's going to be a problem. Then the money's going to stop coming out.
And so if we take this situation into account, both with the theories that maybe they don't cover 100% of the tokens, and as you mentioned, they might have problems withdrawing the dollars, how would you say this bear market will play out compared to the last time in 2013?
Dude, the chart looks real similar to me. It's worse, actually. If you go onto tradingview.com, and you click the interactive chart on BTC USD, and then you click on the top left, there's a button like 3 or 4 or 5 down, and then you click it and you drop down to bars, okay? And you click your chart and you click the beginning of your old bubble, the end of your old bubble, and then you can drag it to today. And so you can take the old bubble and you can drag it right over today. Make sure you've got log clicked in the bottom right so that it makes up for the number difference, right? And we recovered a lot faster in the 2014 bubble than we did today. This recovery is dog shit. It's the worst. It's worse than that. It's over. And if you don't believe it, go grab the old bubble, use the bars tool, drag it over, and you can see it for yourself. It's fucked. Every time I post it, I lose a lot of Twitter followers. All my Twitter followers love me for my Bitcoin maximalism. And now that I'm not a Bitcoin maximalist anymore, and I think the price is going down, fucking hate me.
So have you sold all your Bitcoin then?
Unfortunately, I haven't because I'm stupid. I'm a fucking idiot. So I've lost a lot of money because in my whole life from 2011 till now, I just found it very hard to part with these things. Like I ain't gonna say I want to cry, but this has been very bad, right? Like I really liked Bitcoin and it's not cool. I don't want to see it die. So you just wait 2 years.
But that became very sad for Bitcoin very, very quickly in our conversation. But what is about the vision for Bitcoin? Are you negative on the vision when you compare it to all
No,
the
dude,
other
software is
cryptocurrencies
great,
and-
dude. It's the most secure, most distributed, best devs, you know. It's great. It's just, if you care about the price, you know, that's the only thing that's fucked up. Software works good, works well. You know, they just rolled out SegWit and the core wallet. No one uses the core wallet, so I guess it doesn't matter that much. Yeah, you know, look, I tried everything I could to kill shitcoins and to kill the fucking ICOs. I wrote articles on it, spoke out about it, and I was wrong, and everyone else was right, and everyone else made a lot of money, and I just held fucking Bitcoin. And it sucks to be, you know, morally right and then watch everyone else make a lot more money than you. And you're like, oh. So like, for instance, you know, I told everyone not to buy Ethereum. And some people didn't make the money they would have, right? You know? And I told people to, you know, I'm 50K BTC Richard Heart, 100K BTC Richard Heart. You know, I really thought we'd get to 25, no problem. And if you don't keep track, and you don't keep track of my tweets, and you only see the one that said buy 17, but you didn't see the one that said we're dead, well, you're getting annihilated, you know? Which if you have a long time horizon, that's fine. You can hold 2 or 3 years, but I'm done with that shit, dude. I don't want to sit through a fucking bear market. I don't. I'm so tired of it.
But the truth wins at the end, right? It's all about the fundamentals at the end. When the dust settles and...
It's not. It's not.
You don't think so?
Okay. No. Dude, let me give you some more bullshit, okay? If Bitcoin were fully adopted, do you think it's okay that an unknown party owns 10% of the coins? You think it's okay that Satoshi owns 10% of the global currency supply? Well, that means that you have to fork out his fucking
coins.
coins.
He is still alive, or they.
Yeah, and if he's alive or dead, it don't matter because you don't know who's in control of the keys, right? So maybe Kim Jong-il becomes control of the keys. Now what, right? So you can't have a fully adopted currency where 10% of it's owned by someone that you don't know who the fuck they are. That don't work, okay? Step 2, if this shit becomes popular enough, what do you think's more likely? Facebook rolls out their own token, or they decide to use your shitcoin. They just roll out their own everything. They build their own everything. They build their own server hardware from scratch, right? Like the open server platform. They built that from scratch. They build their own programming languages. They build their own fucking everything, right? So Amazon and Facebook both build all their own stuff, right? So why the fuck would they use your token? They could hire 4 devs and build a better token, or fork your token, right? So what does the future look like for crypto? I would firmly believe in seeing an Amazon token who outcompetes everyone, right? If you have a product on Amazon and it sells well, they literally send a guy to China to find out where you were buying it. They already know where you're buying it because you shipped it directly to their warehouse to drop ship it. And they just cut you out of the deal and put Amazon Basics on it. So every Amazon Basic product you see used to be a successful Amazon affiliate or retailer. They got fucked over and went right around to the manufacturer by Amazon. Why wouldn't they do the same thing with currency? Why wouldn't they do the exact same thing they do with currency and fuck over the crypto dudes that they did with all their other retail products? And I like Amazon Basic stuff. It's a good deal. But I know that they basically cut the middleman out, right? So I don't think there's a chance that
Amazon will not be the same as Bitcoin ever when it comes to decentralization.
It'll be better. It'll be better. What are you talking about? Why wouldn't it be better? Why wouldn't an Amazon coin be better than Bitcoin?
Well, because you have a company behind it. Of course, it depends on how they structure it, but I can't imagine them doing it in the same way as Bitcoin, where it is completely centralized, no one is in control. Most probably, they will be in very tight control of their token if they do something.
All that stuff sucks, right? Like the whole no one's in control of it stuff. That's the reason you can't send it to your bank without them shutting your bank account off. If you have a fucking bank account in Australia and you get a Bitcoin wire to your bank account is getting terminated, period. That's it. They're turning your fucking bank account off, right? So the concept that somehow that is better than an Amazon coin, well, they give you a fucking ATM card and you can just spend it wherever you want. I'd rather have the Amazon coin. If it pumped, I'll take that fucking coin, right? That I can actually like receive the money and not lose a bank account, and you know I could actually spend it. I mean, even credit card fees. So let's say I want to pay my miners for mining my token, and I have to pay them through Ethereum because it's an ERC-223 contract. It costs me $2.80 I guess because I use ERTC, because I use 223, it should cost about half. I think average transaction fee is $2.80. It's going to cost me $1.40 to pay my miner for mining my token. Okay, I could pay them on Venmo for 25 cents. So exactly where the fuck is this efficiency from cryptocurrency?
So you don't believe in the whole vision with cryptocurrencies where we have currencies that are without intermediaries, because it will be, I mean, people will have to switch somehow. It will not be as convenient, of course. You do not have banks anymore, but this is kind of the vision of cryptocurrencies. But it seems that you make the point that because it is so difficult, Amazon will make it a lot easier. People will just use Amazon coins because they are more easy to use. But that will, in my view, it will lose the whole point with cryptocurrency. Why not just use dollars or?
No, but you're a technician. You're a technician and you understand the technology, so you want the technology to matter. I'm telling you that the whole rest of the world that actually speculates and buys this shit doesn't give a single solitary fuck, which is why they buy Ripple, which isn't even a cryptocurrency. Okay? It's a centralized fucking Excel spreadsheet that's pre-mined where some other guy already owns 50% of it, and they buy the fuck out of it because they don't care about the tech.
You don't have to be a technician to appreciate the finance and the economy behind it. I mean, you have to be like from Belarus or from Venezuela or some other place where you know what currency actually means. Because people in Sweden, in the US, don't really know what currency is because the currency has been stable. But for example, I'm from Belarus. You learned very early on that the currency doesn't mean anything really, and that is why everyone is trying to buy euros, dollars, spread out the risk. So if Amazon comes with a cryptocurrency, well, it's not only from technical reasons why it's worse, but also from economical reasons. When you have a company in control, it's not as appealing from several perspectives.
Yeah. So once again, people buy this stuff because it goes up in value, unless it's Monero and they want to buy drugs. That's it. Okay? If you had bought Ripple at the beginning of the year instead of Bitcoin, you'd be a way richer motherfucker. Period.
That is short-term speculation we're talking about. I'm talking about the long-term use case of cryptocurrency, the future of cryptocurrencies.
Why wouldn't the future look like it does now? Why wouldn't you continue to see millions of more shitcoins that cyclically pump and dump and pump and dump and pump and dump? And there's always a new pump and dump that keeps going on forever. Why wouldn't that be more likely than the actual centralization on a single currency?
Because currently people don't know what cryptocurrencies are. They join the blockchain space, blockchain field, they buy some kind of token and it goes up in value. Currently it's all about speculation.
Yeah.
But my point is that it will end badly. We will see some kind of huge crash. Your point is that we already see it currently. I think it will take a few years more. And after this crash, all of these unserious players, all of these people who bought for speculation will quit. They will not survive the crash. And from that point on, people will have a better understanding of what cryptocurrencies actually are. Now we see people hearing something about decentralization, they get excited, they think that the token is valuable, and that is why they think it's going to go up, and that is why they buy it. But when we see a huge pullback, huge crash, people will start reading on the fundamentals to a much greater degree, just like with internet bubble. People didn't really understand what they bought back then. Something on the internet, it has .com in the name. But after the crash, that is when we saw real development and real fundamentals winning over speculation. So that is my point, that currently, yes, it's all about speculation, but long term, I see a future where people actually understand what they're buying to a much larger degree. Would you disagree?
Yeah, people are fucking retarded. They don't know how to do anything. They double right click. They enter their domain name they want to go to in the Google search area. They give away their privacy at every option possible. They install every exe and click yes to every checkbox. And when they install an app on their phone, they click fucking yes, turn my GPS on, and yes, share everything. People are fucking retarded. And if you think that people are going to understand one of the most complicated, one of the most hard to understand things in the whole world, you are wrong. They are not going to get it. They're not going to understand it. They didn't do well on the SAT. They don't know how to fucking do math. They ain't getting it, okay? And as far as like, let the better crypto win, they don't even install the wallets. They don't download the coins. They don't take physical possession. They buy a ticker symbol on an exchange and they leave it there, and they have an IOU on the exchange with a little ticker symbol and a database next to it. Until people download wallets, and by the way, here's the funny part. It's probably better that they do that, because at least when they lose their password, the exchange can still hook them up and give them their money. If these retards actually installed the wallet and actually had sovereignty and actually had to take responsibility for their own finance, they would all lose their money the same way they all lose their nude pictures. So whenever you go on the internet and you see all these funny nude pictures of celebrities and you go, I wonder how that happened. That happened the same way that everyone will lose all their Bitcoin private keys and they'll lose all their Bitcoin. The same way they lost their nude photos that they tried to protect is the same way they'll lose their Bitcoin private keys. So as long as you live in a world where everybody's getting zero-dayed and everybody double clicks every EXE and nobody is an OPSEC security expert, it's better that they leave their coins on the centralized shit exchange. Because when the exchange gets hacked, they'll lose them, but the chance of the exchange get hacked is slightly less than the chance that they get personally hacked. I mean, fuck, if you had CC Cleaner installed, that shit got zero-dayed. A privacy-enhancing software got zero-dayed. Luckily, it was a nation-state actor, and they only targeted certain aerospace industry shit. But if they had just decided to fucking search for wallet.dat, you know how many millions of fucking dollars of Bitcoin would have got lost from wallet.dats getting fucked over by CC Cleaner? And that's just what we know about, right? How many pieces of software have been zero-dayed or backdoored or ratted or Trojaned that we don't fucking know about? All of them? Now that you've got Spectre and Meltdown, so that you can never again run any EXE ever again, ever, without it having access to everything else in memory. So now if your Bitcoin private key is ever in your memory, ever, some other EXE can fucking grab it and you'll never know. Undetectable. Until they come out with literally new hardware. It's unpatchable. You have to literally have new hardware. Well, that's the world we live in now. It ain't grand.
So did you come to this realization when the price started to go down, or were you this negative when the price were at 20,000 or so? Because it's always easier to be negative. Everyone is negative when the price is down. And everyone, as people were in 2014, 13, people tell that Bitcoin is a failed experiment, never going to work. And now we see in this euphoria, people are very excited for the future for a few years. But what about you? Were you this negative when the price was high as well?
I'm a very creative person. And creativity means you randomly, your brain, without you caring or making effort, just randomly tries out 1,000 different ideas. Then it lets you know when some ones look good. That's what jokes are. That's what art is. It's experimentation. And then some of the stuff looks good and it gets selected and brought to your attention. It's called the reticular activating system. So when your brain finds a pattern or something that's interesting, it brings it to your attention. Is that you buzzing?
There's an issue with the sound, I think.
Yeah, you're fine. It's fine now.
Okay, now it's back.
Yeah. So, I can look at the positives and negatives, right? So like take me, right? What am I? Fat old scammer, scumbag, fucking go on a diet, right? Get a real job, cut your hair. Like I could make a lot of fun of myself if I wanted to, right? Or I could be positive about myself and say, look, I tell people what I think and why I think it, and then they can make their own decisions. I've done, I had a self-help YouTube channel trying to help people make their lives better, try and make politics better, try and make
that was actually good. I watched your videos on gaming, but please continue with Bitcoin.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I do get positive feedback from people I've helped stop playing games and do something better with their life and try and live a more wholesome existence. I do get some positive feedback from that, but it's a very small minority of the people that just care about me pumping their bags. All I am is a big fucking shill to help Bitcoin investors' Bitcoin price go up. And if I say anything that doesn't help their bags get shilled, I'm the biggest piece of shit in the universe. Now I kind of relate, I kind of understand it, because when Jamie Dimon talks shit, I really hate him personally for not liking my tech project, right? But now that I'm saying not the same stuff, but things that ain't good for price, boy, people don't like it when you hurt their investments, dude. So if you bought Bcash, you don't like me. If you bought IOTA, you don't like me. And now, if you bought Bitcoin, you don't like me. And that sucks because everyone that knows me, 90% of my followers, just like me for the Bitcoin shit. So I still post good news when it comes out and, say good stuff when it comes out. But I'm terrified to post any of the bad stuff which comes out because it's just personal attacks all day long, which I'm used to because I've been getting personally attacked forever, but it's slightly gay.
We'll talk about IOTA next, and also talk about this whole mysterious past of yours as well. Guys, we have almost 3,000 people watching. If you haven't, press the like button. If you enjoy this, if you learn something, if this is valuable to you, make sure to press the like and share the stream with your family and friends if you think they would find it interesting. So, Richard, let's move on to IOTA. Last week we had David from IOTA here, and you were very active in the chat.
Yeah.
And from what I've heard, mods banned you as well. I'm not sure why.
I just got delayed. I just got put on timeout, so I was still able to post. It was just a delay. It wasn't a full ban.
All right, but so you have strong opinions about IOTA.
Yeah, it's a piece of shit run by an asshole.
Let me tell you my opinion, and then we can discuss it. So IOTA, in my view, is a promising vision. However, from a technical standpoint, it's not really delivering when it comes to coordinator. Coordinator needs to be removed, but you're not seeing the potential for the coordinator being removed and the vision playing out at all.
Well, I mean, look. First of all, a fucking DAG is a data structure that has existed for 30 years and is used in Git. Okay. A DAG on its own doesn't mean shit, okay? It's just a way to store fucking data. So the things that make a blockchain useful are the fact that anyone can join or leave the network, and that you can't rewrite history, and that you can do transaction ordering. That's what matters, okay? So if you use a DAG, it doesn't mean anything on its own. It means nothing, right? Because the important parts of the system aren't how you store the data. It's how you prevent double spends, and how you don't get 51% attacked, and Sybil attacked, and all those things, right? So in Bitcoin, part of the way you don't get Sybil attacked is when you boot up your node, it tries to get other far away nodes in the likelihood that you're getting a more honest picture of what the network consensus is, and you're not just getting a couple local guys that were put there to give you a false blockchain, and then you don't know the difference. You double click bitcoin.exe, and then, oh, look, you've downloaded a fake blockchain. It's that's another thing. People say Bitcoin is trustless or blockchains are trustless. They're fucking retarded. Did you verify the code and compile it before you ran it on your computer? No, you didn't read the code and compile it, and you're not a security expert? Well, then you trust that whoever gave you that exe file and compiled it isn't just sending your private keys to his computer, period, right? So this concept of the trustless system is a fucking joke. You trust your developers, and you trust that there's not a camera looking at your keyboard when you put your password in, and you trust that there's not a virus on your computer, and you trust that when you turn your computer off, an evil maid didn't put a fucking memory stick in there and abuse the MEI interface. It's
technically trustless, but of course, practically, you can destroy trustlessness in those ways that you mentioned.
I mean, so let's take IOTA since it's on the list. The people that designed IOTA are fucking retarded to a degree that is almost impossible to understand, okay? So what do cryptocurrencies have? A cryptocurrency is, there's a ledger that says who has what money, and by who, I mean what private keys have access to what public funds, okay? That's what a blockchain is. And your wallet is your collection of private keys that accesses those funds, okay? So a wallet contains your private keys. So does IOTA have a wallet? No. What IOTA has is a fucking node interface where you somehow magically generate your own key that's very long and has only the number 9 in it. Only the number 9. Okay? I think it's only capital letters too. So you generate your own key with extremely fucking weird parameters that don't make any sense. And then that's now not only the seed which generates all of your future private keys and public key pairs, but also how you get into your fake wallet, which doesn't actually store any fucking keys at all. So if someone's like looking over your shoulder and you type in your wallet password seed, you lose all your money because they saw it. If there's a virus on your computer and you type in your seed, you lose all your money. Is there an option to encrypt your fucking wallet? No, because it's not a wallet. It doesn't store anything. It's a fucking piece of node software. So they're cunts for even calling a non-wallet a wallet, okay? They're cunts for letting every fucked up random number generator in the world generate keys, Okay, so we had this problem at Bitcoin. There was an Android wallet that when you created your Bitcoin public-private key pairs, the random number generator didn't actually generate random numbers. They were insecure, and someone noticed that and stole everyone's money. So an insecure random number generator will lose you all of your fucking money, and these goddamn idiots at IOTA are too fucking stupid to have a wallet that actually generates fucking private keys, right? And has good random number generator in it.
We talked about it last week, and their point of view is that this is because IOTA is backend, and therefore it doesn't have a wallet. That they haven't focused on the wallet. It is only backend. But that is nothing that...
Dog, please, okay? Are you selling your token on exchanges that are human interfaced? Is the vast majority of your market cap on exchanges that are human interfaced? Are the vast members of your community and your Discord and your Reddit humans? Well, apparently the humans are the ones giving it a value, and apparently the humans are the ones losing all their money to fake key generators on the internet and to insecure fucking random number generators. Dog, if you sent your money to the same address twice, you lost your money. Like, it is the worst project I've ever seen in my entire fucking life. I'm pretty good at old blockchain shit, okay? First, their foundation stole everyone's money to prevent a hacker from stealing it because of a fucking exploit that was found. If you double spent money, not double spent, but if you sent money to the same address twice, then someone else could steal it. Stupidest thing I ever fucking heard of. Never heard of something so dumb in my fucking life. So their foundation stole all the money. Now, when I bought that piece of shit coin, because I thought, blockchain has size problems. This thing doesn't have blocks. Oh, maybe cool. Looked at the charts. Oh, it's uncorrelated. The idiots that buy this don't buy the other thing. So maybe it'll move differently. It seemed like a good hedge, right? So I bought this shit. And, I log into my wallet. It says I got no money. Where's my fucking money? Where's my money? So I'm angry now, okay? I log into my wallet. There's no money. Go to the subreddit. Where's my money? Oh, well, download the new software. Install the new software. Zero balance. Where's my fucking money? Oh, well, you have to click reattach. I don't know why. Okay, fine. Reattach. Nothing. Doesn't work. Reattach. Doesn't work. Reattach. Pending. Error. Reattach. Pending error. Pending error. Pending error. All right, I'll try another node. Another node. Pending error. Pending error. Another node. Just errors. No pending at all. Fuck. All right, I'll try another node. Oh, shit, it finally works. Okay, I see some on my balance. You literally have to click reattach for every transaction you've ever done.
That is user interface, right? And
no,
that is the same with... we have to distinguish between the technology that is backend and user interface, and that is something they
having your network not
well,
know the state of consensus.
Not something they have been focusing on currently.
No. Don't confuse the two. That is a bad interface plus a broken network. Okay, if your nodes don't know the state of the fucking network, they shouldn't be fucking nodes. Okay, if you have a global consensus fucking network and one of your nodes disagrees with another fucking node, it's not a goddamn blockchain. It's not something you can use. You can't use something where one node says you got no fucking money and the other node says you do have money. Where one node says you have been paid and the other node says you haven't been paid. And I literally saw my money appear and disappear in my own fucking eyes. It went confirmed. So after reattaching and rebroadcasting and cycling through different fucking nodes, after a couple days of this shit, I finally got some balance to show up. And I literally saw it go from confirmed back to fucking pending in front of my eyes. Now you tell me as a merchant how the fuck I can give someone a product that I was paid for and then unpaid for. Get the fuck out of here. This is the dumbest piece of shit I ever seen in my fucking life. So it turns out that there's a graph of their network and your node chooses different vertices at the edge of the network as it goes forward. And then if you want, you can spam the network and destroy it by making a giant chain that's really long and making it impossible for people to find the other things they're supposed to find. And so when you would go to the shape of the graph, when I was using it, there was a giant blob in the middle that was circling around, and it wasn't working like it was supposed to, because they tell you that spamming the network makes the network stronger. It doesn't. Spamming the network makes their network fucking fail, which is the reason that exchanges disable fucking wallets, and the reason that I had to come out and let everyone know what a fucking piece of shit it is, because I saw zero balance plus transactions going from confirmed back to pending plus disabled wallet on exchanges plus a founder who's happy to say, I hate speculators and I hope you lose all your money.
Well, so, for example, in Bitcoin, we can also have the situation with two different versions of truth, temporary forks. And although IOTA is in this state, as you describe it, you don't see it ever developing and growing out of these diseases, child diseases, the project currently has.
That's why we have testnets. Testnet. You want to test your dog shit and dog shit land that sucks? Use a fucking testnet. You know what testnet coins are worth? They're worth fucking nothing, okay? And you want to know what IOTA should be worth? It should be worth fucking nothing because it's a fucking testnet. It should be burnt into the fucking ground. It should die. It's losing people millions of fucking dollars and stealing mind space and stealing mind share from projects that could actually fucking use it. They suck. They're the worst. The fucking worst. Like literally, you might as well just throw your money out the fucking window. Some of it might blow back in. It's so bad. And then they keep doing snapshots, right? Since their consensus network doesn't work, they keep doing snapshots from a centralized server to go, we know our shit don't work, but we're going to try and pretend it works because we do snapshots every once in a while. And every time they do a snapshot, it zeroes everyone's balance. So every person that logs back in to check their balance shows they got no money. And then you can click and hope manually every time there's a fucking transaction, please show me my money. Please show me my money. You got to be fucking kidding me, dude.
So what about other projects such as Byteball and...
I like Byteball. I like Byteball a lot. I think Byteball's fucking cool.
So it's more about the team and the execution and not the actual philosophy that you don't have to have a blockchain in order to achieve consensus.
No, I'm totally okay with trading security for federation, right? So if you want to have a federated system, which is easier to kill, but is faster and can be upgraded quicker, that's fine. You should be allowed to make that trade-off, right? But IOTA made that trade-off and didn't get any of the upside. They just doubled down on all the downside and didn't get anything good out of it. But Byteball has smart contracts. IOTA doesn't. Byteball has anonymous sending. IOTA doesn't. Byteball, the fucking wallet, never says you got zero money. IOTA does, right? Byteball doesn't have to do snapshots. IOTA does. Byteball, it was fairly distributed, not a pre-mined shitcoin. They'll still give it to you for free if you hold Bitcoin. They're doing another airdrop, I think, next month. You want free Byteball? You just put in your Bitcoin address. I don't think they support SegWit, but if you have a normal Bitcoin address, they'll give you free fucking Byteball. Well, that seems pretty fair. It also has oracles built in. So if you want to do sports betting or you want to have flight insurance that knows whether the flight was canceled or not, that shit's built in. It's got KYC AML built in if for whatever reason you want to do an ICO on it. They've got Jumio integration built in. So you're telling me that a project that's federated, doesn't have blocks, doesn't have mining, has oracles built in, has declarative smart contracts, which means they're harder to fuck up and lose your money because they're easily worked with human readable logic. No fancy programmer bullshit. If this, then that. Simple fucking stuff, right? Oracles, declarative smart contracts, anonymous coin with the black bytes, no blocks, no mining, fair distribution, multi-platform client, never shows you a zero fucking balance. What more do you want? Like, what could you possibly add to that project? The only thing you could fucking add would be more decentralization for what? It doesn't even get attacked.
I always like to try to see world from other people's point of view. So if you think about the world, how IOTA team sees it, would you say that they're just, the thing got out of their hand, that they grew too fast, all the marketing came too fast, they didn't have time to get the wallet working? Or are they intentionally?
Come on.
Are they intentionally trying to pump this and sell off later on?
Doug.
Or what is their plan in your view?
Let me know the cryptocurrency that doesn't have a wallet that stores keys and generates private keys. Please. There isn't one. Okay. The only assholes in the whole universe that are too fucking stupid to securely generate a private key are those guys. Okay. Every other cryptocurrency in the history of fucking mankind has had a wallet that stores keys and generates the keys that it fucking stores. All of them. All of them. The only fucking project in the history of mankind that hasn't are these idiots. Okay. And then they come up with buzzwords that don't help. Like, we're going to use trinary or ternary or whatever because, on and off isn't enough for us. We want to use 3 bits of logic. But no processor uses that shit, so you just have to emulate it so it'd just be slower. It's so fucking stupid. Like, complexity for the sake of complexity with total non-security, total non-functionality. Retards.
So why are they doing it? Because they intentionally have a plan?
Why does bad software exist? Why does bad literature exist? Why do ugly cars exist? Why do you see people walking down the street with white shoes and black socks? There's idiots that don't have taste and don't have good development ability and don't know their ass from a hole in the ground that still find funding, okay? That is one of those fucking idiots, right? He said, I care about these things no one cares about. And then the things that I should care about, like user experience, fuck them, fuck the users. That's the decision he made. And so he said, fuck the users, and the users got fucked. I have no mercy for that guy, and I have no mercy for his project. There's other better projects right now. Byteball is one of them. There's other DAG projects as well. You could not possibly find a worse DAG-based project.
But
period.
What about the fact that big companies such as Bosch and also others are collaborating with IOTA?
Yeah.
What is is it only marketing?
So Volkswagen had some really good guys working on their programming for their diesel engines, right? Oh, it turns out that, just because a company's big doesn't mean it only does good. Turns out big companies make mistakes. Holy shit, right? Like Nokia. You got a Nokia phone? No? You don't have a Nokia phone? Well, they used to be the only good phones in the whole fucking world, but you don't have a Nokia phone anymore. Well, what happened? Well, what happened was a big company fucked up. And big companies fuck up all the time. And because one or two guys falls for some technobabble bullshit at a big company and buys a big old bag of tokens and decides to show their fucking bags, it don't mean it's a good project, right? And by the way, we're working with Microsoft. How is that good? What exactly good thing is Microsoft doing? Is your Windows software working any better these days with its fucking built-in spyware bullshit? Keylogger built in, turned on by default. Is that working good for you? Is Word improved in the last 10 fucking years? How exactly is working with Microsoft good? We work with a Bosch. We work with a fucking relay and dishwasher manufacturer. Why do I care? Why do I give a fuck? Your wallet doesn't work.
It could be a confirmation of the technology. That the technology
It's not.
If the engineers at those companies have decided that this is something to work with, could be a sign.
Right. The wallet doesn't work, but maybe some other guy sees something good.
But the back end.
There ain't no back end. There's only one end, the bad end, okay? Their bad end is clearly visible and you can use it because when you install a node, there it is, okay? And you can use it and see it fail right in front of your own fucking eyes. And nobody from Bosch or Microsoft investing makes confirmations go from confirmed back to fucking pending right in front of your fucking eyes. I don't care who buys in. I don't care if they convince Barack Obama to buy their fucking shitcoin. It don't mean that it can find consensus. And that's the only thing we're doing here. Finding consensus is the only thing we're doing. If you want a distributed fucking database, that shit's already done. It's been done for 30 or 40 fucking years. Encrypted distributed databases have been around for 30 or 40 fucking years. The only thing that blockchain and other alternate consensus mechanisms are supposed to do is transaction ordering and censorship resistance and prevention of double spends. And that's fucking it. That's all we're doing here. And if your project has nodes that disagree with each other, you lost the fucking game. If your project rolls back transactions, you lost the fucking game. If your project can't generate its own private keys, fuck directly off. Like, that's it. I don't care who bought your shitcoin. Oh, fucking, we got Hillary Clinton to buy some. Oh, I'm glad. Is she a cryptographer? And by the way, cryptographers aren't even good network engineers. It's a different branch of fucking science, right? So having a good UX is different from having good consensus networking, which is different from having scalability, which is different from, look at Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin had to build their own crypto logic, their own libsec P256 to process the transactions faster because one, OpenSSL, had a heartbleed error and was slow as fuck, right? So even Bitcoin had to build its own crypto primitive executable to improve things, right? And the user interface still sucks. So even though Bitcoin has the best networking and the best crypto platform in it, it still has bad UX. Each one of these things is a different thing, right? They're totally unrelated. The guy that does the UX and Qt is not the guy that's writing libsec P256, is not the guy working on the networking part. There's a lot of moving parts here, and IOTA just happens to do all of them poorly. Mm-hmm. Oh, and how many exchanges is it on? Oh, just 2 fucking exchanges. Well, why? Because no exchange wants to lose all their fucking money and have all their clients fucking sue them when their wallet fails and they owe so much fucking money.
But I mean, it's both the wallet and that the fact that they're not an ERC20 token. So it's a combination in my view. that is harder technically for exchanges to list them because they're not following the format.
There's a lot of shit coins that get listed with their own executable, man.
Guys, we have almost 3,300 people watching. Amazing to see that so many people are interested. And I can understand why, because Richard, when you explain your points of view, you explain them very, in an animatic way. Do you say that you're very animated?
When there's something that pisses me off, yeah.
And I think people find both information and entertainment. Of course, many people disagree as well, as I see in the chat. But all in all, guys, like the video, smash the like button if you liked it, if you found something interesting. So, Richard, let's move on to the controversial parts of your past. Because when I tweeted that we're going to have a live stream, I mean, many people linked different things. For example, this article on Medium that we can talk about. So let's start with, let me just find my page here. Let's start with Viagra and spam. Why are you called the king of spam?
Well, I was sued for spamming as one of the first people to ever get sued. So that's notable, right? And then a couple of years later, the Joe job happened, which I told you about, where some guy just was like, yo, I'm Richard Richard Schuler, multimillionaire genius. I'll teach you how to spam and make $1 billion. Here's my social security number, address, phone number, every piece of data the guy could find. And so I would get calls on my phone when I'm sleeping like, hey man, can you teach me how to spam? And then I got a call from a reporter. He's like, so are you a millionaire from spamming, right? And I'm like, if I was, I wouldn't tell you. Fucking leave me alone, right?
So what is spam in that case? Is it email spam or what is that?
Yeah, well, when I was like 18 and living in the back of my car stereo store warehouse, I tried to send out some emails for my buddy's shopping cart thing that I told you about. I'm like, yo, this is really cool. Fucking try it out, whatever, right? And I had to send like jack shit. I sent like maybe 1,000 fucking emails, some pitiful like comedy number, right? But luckily, I found like the #1 hate spam dude in the entire universe. This motherfucker hates spam, which everybody hates spam, right? But when you're 18, you don't have like a global consciousness. You're not like, well, is what I'm doing good right now? And am I being good for society and shit and all that? It's not in your head at the time. You're like, dude, I'm living in a warehouse. I'm trying to sell this fucking thing. It's cool. It's actually awesome. Try it out, right? So that was like the first spam reference, trying to sell the shopping cart stuff. Then later, once we had a bunch of successful affiliate programs, some percentage of every affiliate program is going to have spammers sign up because those motherfuckers generate traffic, right? So if you have, if you sell mortgages and you want to generate mortgage leads, they're going to spam that order form. And there's going to be a lot of fucking leads, right? Because that shit works, right? So then it's your job to like shut them off. And then how good a job do you want to do shutting them off? You want to do a really good job shutting them off and make sure you make a lot less money? You want to do a medium job shutting them off and make a little bit more money? And so you get to decide exactly how hardcore you want to be about hunting motherfuckers down. And it's cat and mouse. So they just sign up with a new account. What you going to do? So you're constantly fighting the battle, right? And people will always fight that battle because they turn their website off. The upstream host will just turn your fucking site off. So you better be shutting spammers off or your site just goes down, right? Which is the reason there's a lot less spam. I mean, I don't get any fucking spam, right? Like, it's Gmail. I don't get any spam. So, like, I don't even know if spammers still make money because I don't even know what they're sending because I don't even get mail, right? But like 10 or 15 fucking years ago, which is when this was, it's 2018 now. We're talking 2003. The stories that we're talking right now are 2003. This is a 15-year-old story. So I don't mind talking about a 15-year-old story. It's fun. It's fucking interesting. And then Panama is a 2006 story, which is 12 years ago. So we talk about 15 and 12-year-old stories. I don't mind it, but it's some old fucking news.
Yeah, but I think people are very interested.
Well, yeah, I'm an international man of mystery, spam king, fucking million passports, fucking, it's a fun story.
So what about Viagra? You sold Viagra and then you had affiliates.
No, I never sold Viagra. We promoted anything that would work in an affiliate program. So we had XXX Toy Joy that sold sex toys. We had Cash Advance King, which failed trying to do mortgage leads but didn't work. We had Wibout, which is wine, hair, iodine, blood, other something too. That was like a different kind of stain remover that they would use in, surgery rooms to get rid of iodine and such. And then, we tried to sell it to the general public. I had a foreclosure bailout company. I had a lead company called leadfeeds.com where we tried to turn, mortgage leads and at the time DirecTV leads into something you could bid on. So instead of bidding on clicks like Overture, you'd bid on this thing and it would be a lead engine. Unfortunately, had 6 devs, never got a beta, just lost a lot of money trying to do it. What else? No, I'm missing something. So we tried a lot of things. And anything that we could get in the middle of, and basically affiliates could sell, and we could find somebody on the other end that we would either fulfill it or have someone else fulfill it, we would do it. So, I mean, if you had an affiliate program that did anything, we would try and work with you pretty much, because that's our job, right? Like, we got a big list of affiliates that have got traffic. What's the most amount of shit we can give them to try and cycle through? So it was basically like, now if you want to do affiliate programs, or at the time when I looked at it, it was like ABestWeb, and there's other affiliate, like a Conglomerators at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
And so what happened then why did it become such a huge story?
Which thing? Spam thing?
The whole Viagra spam king. Why is it still following you after so many years?
Oh, so when I moved to Panama, I retired and moved to Panama and sold everything and figured I'd live like a king. And I was thinking of living farther away, but the girl I was with at the time, she wanted to visit her mom, and her mom lived in northern Florida, so we didn't want to go too far away. So we ended up in Panama and had a big mansion near the water, and I got the shit robbed out of me. So in that country, there's tax advantages to not owning your house personally. You have a company own it. And then if you ever sell it, instead of selling the house, you sell the company that owns the house. So they're one of the few countries that has bearer shares. And I don't even know if they still have them. I think they might have gotten rid of them for the same reason all the other countries in the world did, is that you run into these problems where someone can go to the courthouse, say that there was a shareholder meeting, say that the real shares were presented, change the directors of the company, and just steal the thing. So I had a guy pretend that he was me, steal my house, and then I went to a lawyer and gave him the real shares, and then he used those shares to steal the house from the first criminal, and he kept it for himself. So my lawyer stole my house from a guy that stole my house. Now, when I go and start complaining and wear full body armor, helmet, and go to the Fiscalia to present, evidence, so they pick you up from the airport, 3 cars, driving through traffic real quick, because it turns out that the lawyer that stole my house was a convicted convict and became a lawyer in jail and had all types of the wrong kind of friends. So I was attacked by those guys because the first guy that stole my house, he was kind of a marketing guy, right? So he knew about websites and shit. So they want to make me look bad so that I don't get my stuff back. So they need to talk maximum shit. So they're like, oh, Richard Schuler, scammer, asshole. They make fake passports and put my picture on them. There's 2 passports with the same fucking photo. It's like not even a good effort. And they just try and make me look like shit so I don't win all my stuff back. And so now if you Google me, all you find is like a YouTube video, which was a copy of a YouTube video I did promoting a charity called the Sens Foundation, which Vitalik just donated $2.4 million to. And one of the other people they were working with, they had the same directors, was called the mprize.org, the Methuselah Foundation, which is trying to give out people prize money based on if you can make a mouse live longer. Because we figure if we can get animals to live longer, then people will get a little jealous and they'll want to live longer themselves. It'll help the funding. So they copied my mprize.org Methuselah mouse video and just typed broken English under it. Richard Schuler, scammer, scumbag, international criminal, all this shit. And you're like, okay, well, who are my victims? Who are my victims? I fuck people over. I'm a scammer. Who have I fucked? There's nobody, right? So on the internet, complaining is a religion. People complain about everything. If you're a fucking scammer, there are going to be a million people complaining about your ass, right? if there's nobody complaining about you, you're not a scammer, right? So I hear this shit all the time. Like, I don't even have monetization on my videos. I don't have a Bitcoin address on the internet. You couldn't send me, if I put a gun to your head, you couldn't send me money. I'd be like, clock, clock. I'd be like, yo, son, give me money. No, you can't. There's no way to give me money. So I must be a really shitty scammer, right? But what are you going to say? What are you going to tell people? They're like, no, you're a scammer. I get this shit constantly, right? You're like, all right, I'm a scammer. Cool. Well, who have I fucked? Why don't the police come grab me? I'm on fucking YouTube 24 hours a day. Like, come get me. This shit's retarded, right? So 15-year-old retarded bullshit that the actual guy that actually committed crime and actually robbed me wrote up, right? So the Joe Job guy, that guy is the fucking criminal. That guy is the scammer, the spammer. I eat shit for that. The fucking guys that stole my house, that try to make me look like a bad witness to get my shit back, that's what I'm dealing with now. So because people on the internet are stupid, I have to deal with criminals shit-talking me from 15 years ago because people are retarded. And if I cared more, I would just do SEO on my own name, or use the fucking like remove your result shit, or like there's a million things I could do if I cared, but I just don't care that much. Like, oh, I used to be good at marketing. Oh, fuck me. Oh no, nobody will want to work with me now. I used to be really good at marketing. I used to be the king of some shit. Oh my God, why would anyone want to work with that? It's very stupid. Now that's the other part, right? Like, if I said to you, yo, I was a spam king, you would do the research and be like, no, you weren't. We looked up all the spam kings and you weren't one of them, right? Like, here's the names of the guys. You're not on that list. So like, what the fuck? Like, I couldn't claim to be a spam king because it wouldn't even hold up. Like, people would be like, no, you weren't. What am I going to do, right? So
that is also the thing with the internet. Of course, it's a lot of positive things, but if something is there and you Google your name and it's bad, it's very hard, I can imagine, to remove it, to solve it.
You know what, dude? I'm so used to eating shit from IOTA supporters and Bcash supporters and probably Bitcoin supporters now. And I hate most of Ethereum too, even though I'm going to use it. I'm going to eat shit from those guys too. So it's just like a shit eating fest anyway. What do I care, right? It's like my Twitter comments. How much money do I make on my Twitter? Nothing. So guess what? Unsubscribe. I don't give a fuck. I make you smarter. I tell you things you didn't know. What are you doing for me? Are you calling me with hot tips? Are you letting me know what's going to pump before it pumps? Are you joining my dev team? If not, shut the fuck up. Go away. You're not useful to me, right? So like, people are always like, unsubscribed. Yo, today, I'll tell you what I did today. So some people were in my chat talking the scammer shit, and I let them get their words out. I let everybody see what they posted, so nobody thinks I'm trying to hide shit. I let it sit there, and I'm like, look, everyone took a good look at all the shit that was talked. Now I'm going to delete this because it's noise, and my chat says high signal to noise. But make sure everyone got a good look at it. And so I went today on Twitter, and I said, yo, if you think I'm a scammer, like this. Now, some people knew it was bait, but apparently some people didn't, right? So I'm just like, yo, block all these fucking idiots, because they don't. What do they bring to my life? What do they bring to my life, right? You don't like me? Good, block. Like, fuck off. You don't bring any value to me, right? I'm the guy doing research and posting shit and like doing my best to bring good content out, and in return, from these idiots with 2 fucking followers, I don't give a fuck.
Mm-hmm. So another story that is also quite visible is this blog post and with death threats from a chat. Yeah. So what happened there?
Well, some guy threatens me. So basically, there's this guy, D-Bag. I'm not going to use his real name because I don't promote scammers, or scumbags in this case. Not a scammer, just a scumbag. And I told him he wasn't doing good things with his life. I said, listen, you're wasting your life. You've got a lot of potential. Do something good with it. And I told him this for hours. And eventually, if you tell someone they're wasting their life away for enough hours, they fucking hate you. And if they're in a similar kind of like, yo, want to be a crypto personality, and you end up with more followers than them and more likes than them and have better interviews and move up farther in the space in a shorter time, they really fucking hate you, right? So if you got a guy that likes to get popular stirring shit, and you've become more popular than, and you're richer than, and just basically the only thing he's got is fitness, I guess. If you're better in every way than this dude, except for the fitness, he's going to get really upset and he's going to tear you down, right? Just like when you see pictures of Dan Bilzerian drowning in hot chicks with a 6-pack in his jet, some part of you hates that motherfucker. It's how life is, man. As soon as he gets close, you want to work with him, want to be best buds. But if he's far away, fuck that guy. He's a douchebag, right? So This dude, this fake wannabe celebrity who never found a following, that just basically failed, doesn't have a token, doesn't do good dev, has an empty GitHub, doesn't make any money, just a fucking loser, who I saw potential in and said he could live a better life. He decided he wanted to shut me the fuck down and fuck me up. So he sent one of his little minions to fuck with me, right? So he sends little minions and he's like, hey, send me your book. I'm like, all right, I sent him my book, right? I got a book outline, like 450,000 words, 250,000 words, giant. Spent years on it. Still sucks, but a lot of great info there if you want to dig through it. And, and then he's like, I don't trust you, man. I'm going to dox you. I'm going to investigate you. If there's anything that you want to tell me now, tell me now. I'll keep it a secret. And I've been extorted before, and I know how it goes. If you try and extort me, immediately I go hardcore. I go all out. I'm like, do your worst. Because you can't win any other way. Ain't no extortion, right? You're going to try and get me? Nah, dude, we go to police right now. I played this game. So he says, I'm going to dox you. I'm like, oh, okay, you're going to dox me, right? Dox myself. Take the worst link I can find, right? Panama link. I put it right on the fucking Twitter. And I go, okay, now I dox myself. What's up now, faggot? What you gonna do now, you little bitch? And by the way, since you ruined my fucking OPSEC, since you made me come out with my fucking name, now I'm gonna fuck with you. And I said, if someone fucks with me and these dirty motherfuckers come after me, I'm gonna say, you're my buddy. So now whatever shit you caused me, it's gonna come right back on you, right? You violated my fucking privacy. You fucking threatened me. You made me do some shit I didn't want to do. I was going to tie my public identity, my private identity, when I did the ICO thing, because you have to for due diligence and, to be lawful. You're going to have a registered security. They need to eyeball you, right? You can't have a registered security if you're shady. If you've done any financial crime in the past, you can't have a registered security. So I'm on a list of registered security. I got to put my name on it, but I'm going to fucking do that when I have to, right? I'm not going to go early and be like, yo, Bitcoin millionaire, come fuck with me up, right? Yo, fucking weird, whatever, come get me and all that shit. There's a reason people don't use a real name on the internet. Very few people do. It's because the internet's not a very friendly fucking place. So this little scumbag tried to dox me. I doxed myself. And you know what credit I get for it? You know what credit I get for having the balls to dox myself first? None. Absolutely none. Because no one cares. They just go, oh, I don't like how Richard talks. He's arrogant. Let's fuck him up. Google, scammer. Like, all right, who I scam? Nobody. So now you actually violating my rights. You're defaming me. You're libeling me. You're fucking me over, and you're doing the bidding of the scumbag that did that 15 years ago that can't even speak fucking English. Who's the good guy here, right? So the story behind all that shit is some guy threatened to dox me. I doxed myself, and then he got scared like a little bitch when he started Googling. He was like, oh, fuck. Oh, oops, right? So I only wish...
What about with a death threat? And
oh, yeah, dude, I've had my life threatened, yeah. If you live in a third world country.
I mean that you threatened his life.
No, I just told you. I said if I have problems, I'm going to tell those people that you're my friend. Mm-hmm. If you consider that a death threat, good luck getting that through court. You tell me exactly my criminal liability for telling someone that someone else is my friend, right? So if someone forces you to something that you don't want to do, you want to emotionally see them harmed, right? So you're going to say something that bothers them, right? And so in this case, the thing I said to bother the guy was, if I ever have a problem, it's coming right back on you. Which he earns, he deserves much more than that. And I could go sue this guy for libel and shut his life down. I have more money than he does. I could keep him doing subpoena ducis tecum and showing up at the fucking court. I could get his visa canceled in Thailand. I could report him as a child molester, which he is, right? I could go and ruin this guy's life, but I much prefer to go find new and better enemies than fuck around with the list I have that's this long of people that have fucked me. The list of people that I have fucked me is really, really long, right? If you have 150 employees, 5 of them steal data, 6 of them cheat on their hours. Oh, you have people signing your bank accounts, 2 of them took money they shouldn't have. Oh, you fucking do business with other people. Contract wasn't paid on time, contract wasn't paid at all. Dude, if you do business and you're successful in life, the number of people that fuck you over is exponentially larger, period. Oh, I'll give you an example, right? Jeff Garzik's going to do SegWit 2x, right? SegWit 2x token lists on Bitfinex. Jeff Garzik, fat piece of shit, loser, scumbag, decides to mail his mailing list that he's going to cancel the SegWit 2x project, instantly driving the value of the fucking S2X option, the BT2 token option on Bitfinex to 0, because now it's worth 0. The project's not going to happen, right? So everyone that owned BT2 token and sold their BT1 real token because they thought SegWit2x was going to win, got annihilated. Annihilated. Because that fat scumbag couldn't follow through and do the project he said he would. And if he was smart, would have given everyone another free dividend, just like Bcash did, right? So if you were a game theory analyst and you were like, oh, what's the smart thing for Jeff Garzik to do? To list the SegWit2x token no matter what, and because it couldn't get enough to get, consensus and switch everyone over, put replay protection and have another shitcoin like Bcash that would have been a 10 or 15 or 8% dividend to free money to Bitcoin holders, which I assume he is. He could have got free Bitcoin by listing his little SegWit2x as a replay protection shitcoin, just like Bcash did. But he didn't do that. He emailed his buddies and canceled the project. And then you see a $50,000 spike on fucking BitMEX, and then you see the BT2 token go to fucking zero, and then other people play games with fake forks where they try and pretend that SegWit2x is really going to happen to get the BT2 token to pump again, but it has a different GitHub address, so the contract's still going to fail anyway. There's a lot of fuckery going on out there, right? Or like Coinbase, right? Hey guys, guess what? Our roadmap says we're not going to list this token. The surprise! We're listing it right now, right now. You don't have the coins on our exchange yet? I guess you're going to get fucked. Why would you do that against your own roadmap? Like, in what financial product is a fucking surprise listing of benefit to anyone? Like, hey, let's shock the system. So there's a ton of scumbags that harm you directly personally, or just harm you through malaction at a distance. And it's, I'm just wait. When I launch my token, you have any idea how many little little bitches are going to come out? It's going to be a fucking hate fest. And I'll be making the world a better place, getting rich doing science, and they'll be typing about, why didn't you pump my shitcoin instead? I hate you.
Well, so what is the future for Richard Heart then, besides the token? Are you still...
Well,
because I imagine when you were very positive about Bitcoin, you wanted to spread the word, talk about Bitcoin, talk about cryptocurrencies. Now you're more negative about the whole space. What is the future for you?
So I basically, once you have so much money, there's nothing left for you to do with it. The best TV is an OLED TV. It costs $3,000. The best speakers are Genelec 8351s. They cost, $6 or $12 a pair. So now you got the best speakers, you got the best TV, grab the best chair, $2 to $3,000. What do you need more money for? What are you going to spend that on? Right? So if you got like 30 or 40 grand that you could throw at just your personal stuff, your bed, your chair, your TV, your speakers, really, what are you going to do with more money? Right? So I've had enough money to have the best bullshit, and then I don't feel like collecting houses or cars or boats or anything. So, I don't actually need that much money, which is the reason I was able to make so much money in Bitcoin, because I just never sold it, right? I just didn't need to. Well, I tried to focus on saving my own life and saving my family's life through technology. I'm no good at dieting, obviously, so I need technology to come save me. And so what do we need? We need people like Steve Jobs to not just die like idiots, but to invest in the shit that will save them 20 years early, so that it was worked on for 20 years, so that when they need it, it's fucking there. But for some reason, people are allergic to the idea, right? So thank God for Vitalik giving $2.4 million to the SENS Foundation. I never gave him any money. I volunteered for him. Did the video for their second conference ever in Cambridge. But, I didn't do as much as I could, because it's hard. Nobody wants to hear about saving their own life. So I thought, how can I make it popular? I could write a book. So I wanted to write the Sci-Vive book and try and make it like a movement. Look, I'm rich and successful and traveled the world and, done all the good things a rich man should try and do. And I could show you how to do them the same way that I did and the tricks that I used. And if I could get people to believe in that and give them the money, the power, respect, the sex, drugs, and rock and roll, if I could give it all to them, then at the end, I could try and pivot them to say, look, now you got all that. Now get rich saving your own life. Invest in biotech. If you can't do it personally and get good at the wet work yourself and the healing of humans yourself, pay someone else to. You'll still get rich, but you'll get rich in something that might save your life. Now, while I was working on that book, crypto just decided to explode, and Ethereum decided to threaten my core position in Bitcoin, and I had to come out, right? So there was no other Bitcoin OGs speaking out. I don't know why. I don't know why all the Bitcoin OGs are such pussies except for Roger. At least Roger's out there talking a good game. Who's the other Bitcoin OG that was there? Roger and I have had dinner. We met in 2013, and I've met Adam back 2012, and all the Bitcoin OGs, how many of them out there trying to spread the good word? Fucking nobody. Nobody. Why? I don't know why. I don't know why no one else was out there talking the good game about the good things that Bitcoin was doing. So I did my best, and I like to think I did a good job. And I like to think that 20K price to some part was my doing. You know, I really did the best I could to show all the good things about this project and all the bad things about other projects. And having done it, you know, I'm done. I'm done doing it now. I'm going to do my own better thing now. I know where this goes. I want to do my own thing. So if I would, in summary, this crypto shit, I'm doing it because it is a bubble and the time is ending. And if you're going to do it, you need to do it now. That's my opinion. Or you could wait till 3 years, it gets hot again. Maybe 2 years. If I wasn't doing that, I'd be working on the sci-fi book right now. Because somebody's got to save my life, so why not me?
Interesting. All right,
you can
guys.
download it. The whole fucking thing's on the internet. Just Google Sci-Vive book. SCIVIVE. Survive Through Science. Sci-Vive.
Interesting. I'm going to take a look. Sci-Vive book. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We're currently at
Ivan, one more thing.
Yep.
Since I'm a shitcoin scammer pumping upper now, I should give you my token URL, right? CFDtoken.com. Like Charlie Frank Delta. CFDtoken.com. Get scammed by the best.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We have 3,000 people watching currently. Hit the like button if you if you enjoyed this interview, if you learned something, if you found it entertaining, interesting, or just had a good time with us. I want to thank you, Richard, for joining the show and sharing your opinions and views on different topics. I think many people appreciate it, many people agree, many people disagree, but that's always how it is. And we cannot just have people on this show who we always agree with and who everyone always agree with. And so it was very, very interesting to talk with you. Thank you for your time, and thank you everyone for watching. I'll see you tomorrow at 8 a.m. Central European time for Good Morning Crypto. And next week, we're going to have 2 interviews. On Friday, we're going to have Dan Larimer, and on Sunday, we're going to have Peter Schiff. And that is also going to be extremely interesting. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm turning off the stream right now.
All right, y'all. So I'm going to answer some chat questions since I've been ignoring y'all for so long. All right, bros. Let's pop out the chat here. I'm sure y'all love me. Y'all love me. Bitcoin maximalist, Richard Hart. Synthetic ETFs might be coming this year for Bitcoin. What's your take on them? Nothing I have seen makes me think the SEC is going to allow Bitcoin ETFs. Google it. They literally said we won't allow them. Richard Hart, you made us sad. Don't worry, I lost more money than all you guys. I'm more sad. Don't lose faith. Yeah, dog, I didn't lose faith. Bitcoin's great, unless you care about the price. And then it's going to suck for a year or two. When Moon, when Lambo. That was a month ago. Now we're down to fiats. Not fiats, something that doesn't rhyme with cash. Now we're down to Nissans. What do I think of Bitcoin private? I don't know anything about it. Rhett seems smart, so it'll probably be okay. I don't know. He's kind of done the pumpy dumpy thing in the past, but it seems like he's got a better team now. Where can you buy my suit? I don't know. It's a good question. I hope you're fat. Talk about Byteball more. I like Byteball. What about Litecoin and Visa? I don't know. Visa's great, and I don't know. Litecoin seems fine. Really sounds like you've capitulated. Are you saying Bitcoin is dead? I'm saying Bitcoin price is dead. Anytime it decides to stop being dead, I'll change my mind. It couldn't hold over 9,200. It's dead. You sound quite negative all of a sudden. Do you really think it'll take 2 or 3 years to cover? Sure, why not? We've done this a bunch of times before. Do you think there's a ton of extra greater fools we didn't get already? Please. 1 gigabyte. When 1 gigabyte equals 1 BTC? I don't know. Gigabyte's gone up. Bitcoin's gone down. I don't know. Probably never, but that don't mean you don't get a better percentage return on the lower market cap thing. Is there any possibility it can come back this year at all? Sure. It can come back whenever it wants. It just needs to start doing it instead of dying constantly. Am I launching CFD token this year? Absolutely. Because as I can stop looking at charts, I can start doing real business, which is what I'm really good at. Staring at charts is death. I don't want to do it anymore. It is terrible. What now, Richard Hart? I'm 17 and my portfolio went from 70 to 10. Sell, and you won't watch it go from 10 to 5. You can buy back in when it starts going up. You don't have to sit through the dip. You can buy back in once it's shown strength. You don't have to sit through the dip. You can buy back in when it shows strength. Cheer up, dude. As Bitcoin has died, my health has died. I need to clean out my brain, my body, change my lifestyle. Don't look at price anymore. When will the token be out? The token might be done getting built before I finish the white paper because I'm the choke point on the marketing and the devs are building faster than I'm writing copy. So the token might be done before the marketing for it is done, literally. Down the list. Am I selling my BTC? I'll give you a tip. Always talk about Bitcoin, never talk about your Bitcoin. At what point is Bitcoin not worth mining? Never. The mining difficulty will always adjust down with the price so that it's always marginally profitable or break even, more or less, is the theory. What is the design of your medallion? Back when I used to do business opportunity and tell people that they could get rich being affiliates, I made this logo, which is a registered service mark, and it's a fist crushing money. Everyone thinks I'm a rapper or that it's like a country or something. It's just a fist crushing money. I thought, what could I use to represent money and power? Fist for power, money for money. It's very gaudy and it's very tasteless. However, since we're all playing with play money, I figured it fit. On down the list. What do I think of Bitcoin Private? I did that one. I need to talk to Andreas. No, he needs to stay away from me. He is clean and wholesome and good and doesn't get involved in drama. And apparently, I'm a drama king. So leave Andreas clean. He does a great job. I'll be the very, love me or hate me guy. Decentralized exchanges, they have no volume or they'd be popular already. Once they get volume, they'll take over everything. Fingers crossed. Pinky ring, Captain American shield. Nah, it's just a Versace thing. It's kind of all Versace stuff, these three. This is Cavalli. I like black and gold, and Versace's big on that color scheme, so we go well together. Next time, ask OG to step up for BTC instead of elaborate storyline where everything goes well when in fact it does not. Yeah, dog. Go ahead and ask those Bitcoin OGs to stand up. I'm sure they're very socially adept and great at communicating. I'm sure they're not like, oh, fucking blah. Like, I'm sure everyone will just love them. You managed to find good devs? Yes. And I'm not telling you about them because I like having good devs when other people don't. Does your CFD use the fluid computations as proof of work? No. We're in the first iteration, we are a smart contract-based platform where we piggyback on blockchains for payment rails. We don't use our work as a proof of work. So we prove that it was done to pay people, but we don't prove that it was done to maintain a blockchain or consensus. How will your CFD competitor fight back? They don't care. They're so rich and have so much market share, they don't care at all. That's why they're stagnant, easy target. You realize Bitcoin sunk well below 8,000? I didn't know that. I'm sorry for holders. I have been warning you to my own detriment. So if what was said was true and you took heed of my advice, you lost less money. Congrats. Where can I read up on the SEC outlawing ETFs? Just Google SEC Bitcoin approval and then sort by date, and everything they've said is negative. So like the ProShares ETF that was going to list on NASDAQ pulled their application, was the last news I saw, because the SEC said, we don't believe in liquidity and we don't believe in the counterparty accounting. Is this your last stream about crypto? No, I'm launching a token, please. And I'll continue to bash haters, and there's always bad tokens to bash. So, and if Bitcoin decides to be bullish again, I'll talk about how great it is when that time comes. What do I think of Tether? I made a video on it. Google it. Even if it's totally legit, it doesn't mean the banks are going to let them get the money back out. And they've already been through 10 accounts, so why not 11? Is there any way you can migrate the CFD token off the ERC20 platform? Yes. I believe so. Hey, maybe sharding will work. I wanted to say sharding. I think I even did. I have 43% left in BCT, the rest in alts. Should I sell alt or only BTC? Look, I mean, the alts do well when Bitcoin's flat. The alts do poorly when Bitcoin pumps or dumps. And I suggest high volatility, anticipate high volatility. So alts should do pretty bad during that period. Look at the chart. If you get a first impulse and they respond a certain way, you might want to assume that that type of impulse continues over time. You can go in TradingView and use compare, right? So if you go to BTC USD and click compare, you can type LTC USD and then drag the chart. Make sure the log button is clicked, and you can see how they diverge or converge or track with each other. I'm a former private equity shop partner, and I'm in the early stages of raising a crypto early stage fund. Do you think I should reconsider? No, what do you care? You make money whether they make money or not. So have at it. Enjoy your free call option on crypto profits. Thoughts on stock market crash? I don't know. Everything's in a bubble, right? So if everything's in a bubble, what happens after the bubble? The crash. It's hard to believe that Mr. Hart is Mr. 180 on Bitcoin, and he makes very weak arguments. Well, dog, you hold that bag until it drops another 30 or 40%, okay? You'll have the best, awesome, cheap coins, and everyone that sold early will have twice as much as you, right? They'll have more of those coins you love so much because they sold the top. So if you like having less of those coins you love because you didn't want to sell the top, sorry for your loss. You were just in it for the money. Bitch, I've been holding fucking crypto since before you ever heard the fucking words. I was part of the mining network that allowed it to exist. I was part of the people that gave it a fucking value when no one else would. Fuck you, bitch. Onwards. I've done more for Bitcoin than you ever have, fuckface. What do you think about Radix? I don't know, it's great, but it doesn't solve consensus, right? It's still, if you like Federated, it's fabulous. I don't mind Federated, to tell you the truth. The private equity guy asked me again. I don't know why. I answered your question, private equity guy. Do it. Start your fund. People will get rich or they won't. You're still going to make money either way. Congrats. If you don't start it, someone else will and is. The only way to make money as a day trader? Dog, if you day trade, you're going to lose your ass. I'm a pretty smart guy, and I've learned a lot about day trading. And I can tell you that without paying your tuition, you're going to lose money. So if you want a 1x long in a bull market or 1x short in a bear market, there's a link in the chat. Go ahead. Just be careful with that leverage, man. I could release a program on how to lose a lot of money and make a lot of money day trading. And maybe one day I will, but I also got a video on why you should never trade and you should do something better with your life. So I'd much rather release my token and do this High-Vive book than release a trading seminar. I've seen fortunes made and lost. How will 10 nanometer chips change the game? Probably won't. What do I think about the Z Classic new fork Bitcoin private? Meh. I don't know. You guys are all asking about it, so I guess it's going to pump because everyone's asking about it. Does the color of your jacket mean you are in gold now? This is more of like a champagne color, actually. See, look. I have a gold version of this. Same jacket, but gold colored. What do you suggest for a young person to study? I literally wrote a whole book. Read my book first. So Google Sci-Vive book. Scivive, like survive through science. SCIVIVE. It's 250,000 words. Read it. Skip around in it. It's not linear. You want to talk about money? Go to the money chapter. You want to talk about relationships? Go to the relationships chapter. You want to talk about learning? Go to the brain chapter. Thank you, Mr. Adam, for saying you wanted to donate your computing power to something that actually does science. I do too. And I built several servers that are just sitting here waiting to mine it because I like mining. Mining's fun. And I can't wait to mine my own token. Do you think I should tell my wife that I lost all my money now, or should I wait till she finds out herself? Oh, God. We'll put her someplace where there's nothing sharp to stab you with, and hopefully there's witnesses. Maybe witnesses that hold her to a higher standard of behavior, like a peer group that she respects. So if you can have your wife get this bad news in a situation where she's less likely to stab you and more likely to try and act okay, that's probably as good as you can do. Sorry for your loss, dude. All right, guys. It's been fun destroying my Bitcoin career here with you guys today. I always wanted to have a nice nuclear meltdown. You will, all the people that hate me, you will be replaced by people that like me. So, it's been fun. I wish you guys the best. I hope that if you hold fiat, it goes up. If you hold Bitcoin, it goes up. I hope that whatever you do, you get rich. Somebody asked a good question here at the end. Any plans to collab with Aubrey de Grey? Yeah, we talked about it on the phone, and I just ran out of time. And I wish that someone else with a brain that was better at ICOs than me would get together with them and take good money for good projects. You know, Vitalik already donated. I can't imagine anyone in the world would be better at knowing people in that ecosystem that have done well that might be able to help them find more funding. So if you guys want to go on Twitter right now and send Vitalik some messages, Vitalik Buterin, trying to get him to not only help with the donations, which he did more for them than I ever did. So he's a hero in my book. Maybe he can pawn off the idea to someone better than me because I'm swamped and I'm on tilt. I'm on tilt from Bitcoin dying. I'm not taking it well. So it was good talking to you guys. I'm heading out.